Hello, hello. Just making sure my voice is coming through and whatnot. I'm gonna give it a couple minutes, see if anyone wants to come in. Hello, hello. Okay. Yeah. All right, yeah. So we're just it's a little bit of a spur of the moment stream, but I happen to have some free time, and it seems like a lot of people have been wanting the King Critical videos to have someone look at them, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Hey, I'm gonna he has a couple videos on libertarianism, it seems like, or ANCAP or something of that nature. Like he has a video on Mentis Wave, and I mean, I'm not exactly sure which videos I'm gonna even look at today. I don't think I have enough time to get through all of them, but I think I can get through some of them, and that's better than none. So yeah, I haven't even decided which one I want to watch right now. So yeah, if anyone wants to like just leave it in the comments, honestly, just say like maybe I'll even do like I don't know how to do a vote. But maybe I can do some sort of thing like that where you guys can decide which one I react to. But yeah, give it a few more minutes. Yeah, I mean I've watched a couple of King Critical videos in the past. I know that I mean I think his like kind of rise to fame. I don't think he's particularly famous, but he has a decent amount of subscribers. I think it mostly came from like he was talking about like transgender people. So I don't really know why he's started talking about libertarians so much, but he seems to really dislike us a lot, which is, that's perfectly fine. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of interesting. I don't know. I honestly thought he was more of just like I don't know, maybe some sort of like standard conservative like ish kind of guy who was just like unhappy with trans people. And I mean, to be fair, his videos have done pretty good. And they've done a pretty good job at saying, hey, yeah, like there aren't three genders, essentially. But I didn't really know that the scope of his political beliefs went beyond just transgender people. So I was honestly kind of surprised. I know a little while ago that Liquid Zulu did like a debate with him. It wasn't really even like a very like aggressive debate. It was more of just like a conversation. Oh, hello, average ANCAP. Libertarians run this shit. Indeed, right? We're the big bosses behind everyone else. Like, if you want to defeat a political ideology, ours is going to be the hardest to defeat. Um, yeah, but I didn't even like. I was really surprised when I saw King Critical debating like Liquid Zulu. I was like, what the fuck? I didn't know this guy had any interest in this stuff at all, but I guess he does. So, and now he's like attacking us. Mm. All right, it's around 1:30. Yeah, so he actually recently made this new video reacting to Based If True's new ANCAP video. If you don't know, Based If True has kind of been making these kind of like he's actually a pretty big channel and he's been making these like just kind of general kind of conservative-ish libertarian adjacent videos, but I guess now he's an ANCAP. So that's I mean, it's very good that we've been able to convince him and get him onto our side because he's a pretty big channel and that's a good ally to have. Um King Criticism's video on libertarianism. Correct. Sub Ouroboros and sub Black Libertarian. Um, yeah, so we have this video. I don't know if this is worth talking anything about. We'll see. But then he has my problem with libertarian response videos. This one's pretty, 31 minutes long. Um, we have debunking Mentis Wave on mutual aid, and we have where is the other one? It's somewhere around. Oh, libertarianism is inhumane. Yeah, it is good that based if true got more based, right? I mean, now he's truly actually based now, so that's dope. What's up, Raptionus? Yeah, so yeah, I'll get one into one of these videos soon. I honestly, I don't know much about this guy. I don't know what he's gonna have to say. Are there any videos that you guys think I should, of these like three or four that are kind of on libertarianism, are there any that you guys think would be most you know, you know, useful to react to, right? Libertarianism is inhumane. Um, Mentis Wave, like I'm not exactly sure. My problems with libertarian response videos was one of was the out of context react he made on our video. Yeah, I did hear that. So I don't know. Does he have anything interesting to say there, or do you think I should go more into like this Mentis Wave one and the libertarianism is inhumane? I'm kind of leaning towards like the libertarianism is inhumane. The one you tagged me in, was that was the Mentis Wave one, right? Maybe we'll do the Mentis Wave one to start. I think I'll probably be able to get through two of these. I don't see myself getting through all three. Libertarianism is inhumane is awful. You should watch it. Okay, let's do this. We'll go with libertarianism is inhumane and Mentis Wave, and we'll see if we can get through both of these. I think I'll be able to. Didn't you know he responded to Mentis Wave? Yeah, I'm seeing it right over here. Sup, selfish? You did get here on time. Yeah, so I think we're just gonna go. We're gonna go with this one and the Mentis Wave one, and yeah,
So you know, I've never met
and of course, tell me if the audio sounds okay. Tell me if his voice is too loud or not. Just gonna put it on where the fuck is yeah 1.25 is normally what I like.
made a secret about the fact that I'm not a huge fan of libertarianism and libertarians. You know, I just it's so utterly contrary to every single one of my values and every single way that I view the world. I'm so far removed.
Weston Smith, Project ANCAP, did a video on Rumble reacting to the libertarianism is inhumane already, so maybe you should do another one. Hmm. Yeah, I mean, everyone. Let's see. I believe in libertarian. He makes the claim that controlled markets are more efficient than the free market. I mean, that's ridiculous. I mean, if someone already did a reaction to it, how about? I mean, I was just gonna do like two videos. I mean, I'll just do both, you know? Oh, yeah, I can turn captions on. Yeah, I'll just how about I just do both? And yeah, video's a little bit too loud. Not mute. Let's see. Like, yeah, so I'm gonna just do both of these. Um, even if someone's already gone over this, you know, it can't hurt to go over it again, and then we'll go over the Mantis with one too.
From libertarianism. There's like just a massive gulf, and it's why I occasionally joke that libertarianism, in my mind, it's not even human. It's like I genuinely like when I'm speaking to anybody from any other political philosophy, I can have a conversation with them where I'm understanding. Okay, this is the stuff this person actually believes, and
Yeah, so one thing I find funny is when you have I think it's funny that you have a lot of these like channels who like are really proud of their like rationality. It's that guy Rationality Rules or you know King Critical. He's like I'm really critical. I'm really rational. I'm going to use logic and reason. Then what you have is they always end up just agreeing with like the most standard like leftist bullshit ever. Like Rationality Rules, for example, kind of reminds me of this guy, and he's like just the most like establishmentarian person of all time. It's like in his video against libertarianism, he was just making the most leftist talking points of all time. It's like apparently this is just the most rational we can possibly get. And I think what his confusion is going to come from is what rights are. Right? I think he's probably like seems to be some sort of leftist and he's going to think that rights are like entitlements, right? And so he's thinking that since libertarians don't believe in entitlements that we hate people. Um but I'm guessing that's what his claim probably is. Brain rot stream. It's going to be so bad we'll forget we're ANCAPs. That's the whole point, yeah. Didn't know Weston had a Rumble channel. Why doesn't he post on YouTube? He got banned off of YouTube? What the fuck?
let me kind of compare this to my worldview and stuff like that. When I speak to or am otherwise exposed to libertarian points of view, I literally just cannot engage with it on that level because it's just on every single level completely contrary to anything that I've experienced in my interactions with other human beings and the values that I expect to see from other human beings.
Then maybe question your values instead of just being like, oh, libertarian disagrees with me, therefore libertarian's wrong. It's like, how about you question your values, right? That's what you have to do, right? I mean, I think all of us probably, when we became libertarians, um, we probably had a lot of just kind of standard status quo values initially because that's just what you're given, right? Like you're given the basic values and then you have to outgrow those. You have to learn why they're false if they are false. And it wasn't easy, right? We didn't just I mean most of us probably, some maybe, but most of us probably didn't just see the first libertarian argument and then instantly get convinced. We probably, went through a chain of questioning our values and reasoning through things and eventually landed on the fact that, yeah, my old values were incorrect. And it seems like he just doesn't want to do that. We do hate people, especially the poor. Yeah, I mean, the certain poor people with a bad philosophy, we're not big fans of them, right? I don't know about hate, dislike, I don't know. Hate sometimes implies some sort of like, I don't know. You can debate about the words, but yeah, we're not big fans of them, right? If they're just making all these bad decisions, they're being criminals. They're not good people. Um, yeah.
I don't expect other human beings to be like, yeah, we can just leave someone to die out in the street because
Why shouldn't we leave someone to die out on the street, right? Like, let's say this is like that altruism coming through. Let's say we have like just this really evil person, like just this like horrible rapist. He just goes around raping all these children and stuff like that. And the altruist mentality tells people that because he's bad, because he's destroying other people, that's why we should keep him in society. That's why we should continue sacrificing to him. But libertarians, we're rejecting that. We're saying, no, this person is evil, so get rid of them, right? Why should we subsidize evil people and keep them in our society, right? I think that's a horrible idea. Um, Howdy, the algorithm introduced me to your content. Your streams are perfect when I'm at work and have one earbud in. Well, I'm glad you enjoy. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure how long we'll be going for, but yeah, enjoy. King Critical does not understand rights at all. He doesn't even understand basic economics. Yeah, I'm sure. That seems what I'm getting from this. Hate means caring, and I don't care. Well, fair enough.
they can't afford healthcare. That's fine. I just that's not something that I've ever encountered as a mentality from anyone else. Even conservatives, they still believe in.
Well, see, the thing is, it's not because they can't afford healthcare, right? Let's say you have this really like he's a good guy, right? This really good guy, and he's just down on his luck. Maybe his house burnt down or some shit like that, or he lost his job for, something that was hardly a fault of his own. And then he can't afford healthcare. I think that people like this, they could do quite well in a libertarian society. Because yeah, you can have mutual aid societies, but our claim isn't that all these rational, good people who are down on their luck, they should be thrown out into the frontiers. Our claim is that all of these people who are choosing and making bad decisions, they should go out onto the frontier. We don't want them in society. If someone can be corrected, if someone just needs another chance, I'm not against giving people a second chance. I'm not against some mutual aid and whatnot, but what this guy's advocating for is altruistic mutual aid, which is altruism just for the sake of sacrifice. Like, why should we sacrifice for this person? Because he's a human being, and we just need to, even if he's an evil human, right? I think you should you should help people normally who are good, who can be beneficial to your life, but don't help people who are detrimental to society and your life, right? Why would I do that? And that's what he's advocating for. Um, who who made healthcare unaffordable? Yeah, exactly. It's also that. It's like I think a lot of people kind of forget that in a libertarian society, right, we would have anarcho-capitalism, obviously, and it would be so profitable that these issues like, oh, what about food? What about healthcare? I doubt that they would even be problems. I bet that essentially anyone who just worked any job could essentially get these things. And this isn't me adopting like a utopian mindset. Like this is historically backed. Again, like Liquid Zulu's video, mutual aid to the welfare state. A lot of great stuff shows that, like, historically speaking, before the state got involved, this stuff was a lot cheaper. So even just someone with like a basic, just workman's job could just afford these things and not really have to think about it that much. I'll never sacrifice myself for someone else. I only live for myself. Yeah, you shouldn't. And sacrifice, though, specifically means giving up a value for a lesser value, right? So that's the way that we're understanding it. So to clear something up, right, you can give something to someone, but that's if you're doing it, it's specifically because you think that this person having this thing will lead to a greater value for you in the future, right? That's what it means to be selfish. When you give someone something, that's not necessarily altruistic. Altruistic is sacrifice for the sake of sacrifice. Right? That's what altruism means. Sacrifice as an end value, not as a means to some sort of greater value, right? So again, like let's go back. If I have like some guy who's down on his luck, but he could be a really great member of the community, if I give him a little bit of money, or like I help him pay his rent one week or something like that, that's not me sacrificing. That's me being like, hey, this guy could be a really great asset. This guy could really help me in the future, and so I'll help him a little bit right now. It's like a long-term investment. Mutual aid societies had healthcare provided for like $2 a year. Indeed. He strikes me as the kind of guy who's never questioned his own principles before. He just takes them as a given, which is why he can't fathom someone else thinking differently about them. I completely agree with that. That's most people just take society's general values as a given, and then they don't question them, and they work from there as if those values are axiomatic, but they're not.
In Medicare, libertarians don't. Even the Republican conservatives, yeah, okay, maybe they vote to restrict, and I don't agree to an extent. A lot of Republicans are libertarians, but
A lot of Republicans are libertarians. I don't know about that claim, but whatever.
for the most part, most people seem to have this idea of no, actually, society is a good thing. Society should be about supporting people. How
Now, I hate this idea of libertarianism being against society. Libertarianism is like the most pro-social ideology you can possibly have. Libertarianism, again, is abiding by the NAP. So a libertarian society is a society wherein there's no crooks and criminals stealing from other people. All trades are voluntary, so everyone's working together. Right? That's what libertarianism means. What is this guy advocating for? He's advocating for one class of people to steal from another class of people to sustain themselves because they're so non-productive that they can't do it themselves. That's what he's advocating for. What strikes you as the more pro-social position? The position that says everything should be voluntary, everyone should respect each other's property rights, no one should steal anything. That seems like a very pro-social, pro-society standpoint, and in fact, it is a very pro-social standpoint, right? And the libertarian claim is that society is great insofar as people are actually abiding by the non-aggression principle. But if you have people in a society that they're just these repeat offenders, they're just going around robbing people, they're just very evil people, then kick them out of society. We want a society free from aggression, but that doesn't mean we don't want a society. We just want a society where everyone's property rights are being respected and everyone's actually being productive and actually contributing instead of some people just parasitizing off of the productive people. Parasitism is the most anti-societal viewpoint you can have because to the extent you have parasitism, you can't build any wealth. You can't even really build a successful, fruitful society, right? If I have just everyone, imagine everyone in a society wants to be a parasite and no one wants to produce anything. Well, that society is going to fall apart in like a month, right? Because no one's going to be creating any food, no one's going to be doing any of these things that actually create wealth. So to the extent you have this parasitism, you can't have any flourishing whatsoever. It's just completely ridiculous. If you do these live streams often enough, I'll tune in. Yeah, I mean, I do them every once in a while. I did a lot. My last one was on like Monday. But this was a little bit of a spur of the moment. Libertarianism is civilizational. Exactly, yeah.
helping people, everyone coming together. This is all stuff that just makes me not think of libertarians as
Yeah, and we love people coming together insofar as their interactions when they come together are voluntary and mutually profitable, right? And rights respecting. We want people to come together and trade. We want people to come together and give each other jobs and stuff like that. That's all great stuff. So the non-aggression principle doesn't mean no one can talk to anyone else and everyone has to like live in a box all by themselves and like no, it just means that you can't aggress against people. You can't be a crook. That's what we're saying. We're saying we reject the validity of crooks and criminals in society. We want to get rid of all of the crooks. How that could possibly be an antisocial position is beyond me.
human beings. And I think probably the best example of this I see all the time is this thing libertarians say. It's like, actually, did you know that you call it free healthcare, but it's not actually free.
Yeah, it isn't. Um, it is I. Hello, Turi Git. To the extent that you do not have the NAP, you don't have civilization yet. The NAP is like the civilizational law. Like you need some level of rights respecting to even have any sort of civilized society. The social isolation principle, yeah, that's actually what we believe in. This is the one you reacted to. Yeah, I heard. So yeah, I'm gonna react to this one and the Mentis Wave one. Um, yeah, we're listening to this guy waffle on. It's kind of pretty odd so far.
Freak, genuine inhuman freak, you fucking lunatic. What the
So when someone says, um, we want free healthcare, and then the libertarian comes in and says, hey, you're actually still paying for this. It's just being collectivized by the state. Apparently that means I'm an inhumane freak and a lunatic. So let's really break this down. When I go out and I look at reality and I make a factual claim about reality, again, you cannot claim healthcare is free. It just isn't. That is a factual claim. Healthcare is not free. Me looking out at reality makes me an inhumane lunatic freak. I mean, what the fuck?
hell are you talking about? Nobody thinks it's free. Zero. And here's the thing, they'll literally say this.
Yeah. Uh, I don't think you're correct. No, but people do think it's free, right? When you look at these retarded voter cattle, they do genuinely think it is free. People do genuinely look at this and say, "Oh, free healthcare. A politician's giving me more free shit." It's like they do think it's free. Like most people, if you told them, "Hey, I'm gonna get you free healthcare and zero tax dollars," they'd be like, "Oh, that sounds like an awesome policy."
As if like they're doing something, as if like, oh, if everyone understood actually that public education is not actually free. Essentially, state-funded education, they don't quite realize it's not actually free. You absolute fucking lunatic. What the hell are you talking about? Not a single person in the entire universe thinks that these state-funded things are free.
No, they do think they're free. They do think they are free. Again, go to the average voter and say, "Hey, do you want unlimited free shit and zero tax dollars?" And they're gonna be like, "You're my king. You're the greatest politician of all time," right? Because they do believe this shit is free. They're retarded. Like they are actually genuinely retarded. They cannot comprehend, where these things come from, how the government funds itself. Hello, Kira Sakamune. If we look historically, it's the socialists who are antisocial. It was the socialists who wanted autarky, not the libertarians. Yeah, yeah, it's really crazy because like one of my points was that there are 100 bullet naptists who will bite. But the thing that makes us inhumane is that we think taxation is theft. Yeah, I mean it's pretty crazy. Yeah, where was that energy when debating Zulu? Yeah. He was very reserved when debating Liquid Zulu. He was like, "Oh, so I feel like the parks should be like publicly owned." And now he's like, "You're fucking inhumane creep." It's like, alright, man.
You have no idea you literally don't understand how human beings work because you
Yeah, I do, but okay, let's see him argue for why I don't understand how human beings work.
actually think that people are going to hear you and be like, I didn't realize. Oh, it's not free. It actually costs someone money.
Look, dude, our argument is not that state-backed healthcare, education, blah blah blah, is bad because it's not free. Yeah, no shit, nothing's free. Our argument is that it's bad, first of all, because it's funded by taxation, which is theft. It's also bad because the state comes in and puts restrictions on anyone else from providing these same services when they, collectivize them. Which is very bad, and that destroys market competition, raises the prices. You get a comparatively lower standard of quality. So that's our argument. Our argument isn't that, oh well, because free healthcare isn't actually free, that's why it's bad. It's like, yeah, no shit. The ANCAP healthcare wouldn't be free either. But our argument isn't that it's bad because it's not free. Um, our argument is that it's bad because it's aggression, it's theft, it's putting restrictions on property rights, it's putting restrictions on competition. Um, he gets scared when faced with an actual ANCAP. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's it. We're not even trying to convince these people necessarily. I mean, yeah, not necessarily. I mean, it's better if we can, but the fundamental thing isn't convincing a bunch of like standard normies.
Oh, did you know actually with your taxes? You probably just didn't know what was happening with your taxes. Actually, your taxes they go to funding these things that you think are free. Genuinely insane. I
Uh, How is that insane? It's making a factual claim about reality, and a lot of people don't understand that. Like, this is ridiculous. A lot of people truly don't understand that they will be paying for these things, likely even more than they would have paid if it was on the market. Almost certainly even more than they would have paid, right? Look at healthcare. Most people are paying, uh, I don't know exactly monthly what the average healthcare premium is or whatever, but you're paying hundreds of dollars for healthcare. Back in the day, people would pay like $2 for healthcare like a year or some shit like that. It was like, so, I mean, seriously, man. Seriously.
Annoyed myself, and now I need to calm down. Zen. Okay. There are several problems with this. The first problem, as I say, is nobody, not one single person,
We don't understand humans proceeds to explain why the scam isn't a scam because it's misleading. Yeah.
is under the misapprehension that these things, which are described as free, are actually, ultimately, free.
A lot of people are. I've said this many times. A lot of people actually do believe that, but okay. These people won't be convinced they have no moral, ethical, or legal principles outside of what they feel at any given moment. It becomes more apparent with this guy as the video goes on. Yeah, I agree. It's pretty much just an appeal to like emotions, like, oh, didn't can't you just think of all the poor starving people? Can't you just think of blah blah blah? It's like, don't you don't even share my values. You're evil. It's like, how about you actually evaluate what good and evil mean? They just have a subjectivist interpretation of all these terms. They say that, but their beliefs rely on the idea that it's free. It relies on avoiding reality, that it's reallocating scarce resources. And we go back to the ECP. Yeah, exactly. Like, some of these people, they might actually like understand, yeah, this comes from taxes. But when you really like examine their premises, like they pretty much just believe that it's free. They believe that the state reallocating like resources from A to B can actually just resolve scarcity. Like they believe that politicians signing things with their pens can actually resolve scarcity, or printing fiat can actually resolve scarcity. Like they actually believe that. This guy overestimates the intelligence of the average voter. Yeah, definitely.
I see libertarians genuinely declaring explicitly that if it was understood that taxpayer funded things aren't actually free, but do in fact cost money, that this would have any impact on people's support for these policies.
And no, it probably wouldn't have any support in the people's support of these policies. Why? Well, because most people like forcible redistribution, right? Most people like the idea of somebody forcibly redistributing wealth, like from someone else to them, right? They're parasites. Most people want to be parasites, and they're happily parasites. And so, yeah, I do agree that if most people, even if they did understand where this money was coming from, that they still would be in favor of it because again, they don't they're not smart enough to understand the second order effects of this expropriation, and they're not smart enough to have an ethical or moral code that tells them that they shouldn't be a parasite. So yeah, they probably still would be in support of this if they understood all of the exactly where the money was coming from. That's not an argument against our position that it's bad that the money's coming from here, but yeah, they probably would still be in support of it. We don't accept democracy as the justification, though. Just because most people are in support of this policy or not, it doesn't change anything.
For these programs. Very obviously, to everyone, this should be. This is not the case. Every single person fully 100% understands that these policies, that these programs are being paid for by taxes.
I sent Rational Frontier your way to hopefully bring you into the Zulu crew. Well, hey, I really appreciate that, man. Yeah, I mean, I'd love to get more into the libertarian space, and get myself out there. Everyone watching should like the stream to boost it in the algo. Yeah, absolutely. Definitely go like the stream. Very based message.
Everyone understands this. Second issue. This is not actually a meaningful thing to say because it applies to literally.
Again, this isn't our fucking argument, man. Our argument is not that state-backed healthcare is bad because someone has to pay for it. Like, does he actually truly believe that that's our argument? Like, the entire ANCAP position is just, oh, well, this stuff sucks so much because someone has to pay for it. It's like, no, we're specifically analyzing how it's being paid for, how the state enforces, this payment and its restrictions on competition, and we're building up a legal code and saying, hey, this is evil. Like, we're saying this is really bad because it's aggressive, because it's enforcing parasitism, and it's collectivizing these things against people's will. It's breaking their consent, right? What if someone else wants to open up a healthcare in the state centrally planned healthcare business, right? It's like the state's gonna go in with guns and lock them in a fucking cage if they want to provide cheaper healthcare. And we're saying that's evil. So this isn't our argument.
Everything. This isn't like unique to taxes. Again, I have to ask. If someone said to you, hey, welcome to Costco, here are some free samples, would you say to them, well,
I sent the stream in Mentiscord. Very based. Thank you. Yeah, send it around as much as you guys want. I appreciate it every time you do.
actually, they're not free? Because Costco had to pay for the ingredients, and they had to pay for someone to assemble them, and that means that either the people in charge of Costco or the people who work for Costco are taking a cut to their wages in order to pay for these free samples, or
Um, yeah, he doesn't have any idea what he's saying. He will proceed to make examples of things that aren't free to prove us wrong or something. Yeah, I could definitely see him doing
consumers
that.
who actually do purchase things are having to pay for slightly more. As you can see, in that scenario, it's exactly equivalently true to say that
Okay, our argument isn't that these programs are bad because some people have to cut wages or whatever or stuff like it's that it's aggression, right? Our argument is that this is evil and it's aggressive and it's the state is coming in with men with guns and forcing people to abide by their edicts, and we think that's evil, right?
even though at the point of buying, or rather tasting the free samples, you do not have to spend any money on them, someone, whether it's you shopping at Costco or someone working at Costco who's now going to have lesser wages, someone has to be accounting for the cost of these free samples. Indeed,
Again, our argument, like Costco free samples, why is this fundamentally different than state-backed, quote unquote, free healthcare? Well, it's because the Costco samples aren't aggressive. The Costco executives essentially just say, hey, we're going to divert, $50,000 in our budget to put free samples of this, like, cheese or whatever in our store, in our stores across, like, this state or whatever. And maybe that means that for the short term, before these free samples start paying off, we're gonna have to take like a little bit of a cut in our wages. That's all voluntary. No aggression has taken place. What does the state do? The state comes in and says, "Hey, if you decide to compete with me, and if you don't want to fund this service, then I'm gonna get men with guns to come to your house and put you in a cage." That's what the state says. What's up, Pistachio Proto? How's it going? I actually would say that if Costco sent goons to my house to rob my shit in order to give the free people samples, then presumably you're going to say then that would be bad, right? Like, yeah, is Costco literally sending like the Costco security force to your house to collect mandatory donations for free samples? Was this after he debated with Zulu? I don't remember, because if it was after, then he should have an idea of what we believe. Let's find out for you. This was 2 months ago. I'm pretty sure the Zulu debate was after that. If one of you guys wants to find out if the Zulu debate was prior to 2 months ago, March 17th, 2026, then that would be appreciated. Yeah.
all things cost some amount of money, all things have some amount of value, and whenever anything is provided to anyone for free, that cost has to come from somewhere. My wife and I bought a piece of furniture from Facebook Market.
You spent 3.5 hours reacting him. The edited one was 1.5 hours, and then he proceeded to clip bit of me mocking his point because I'd already destroyed his arguments 50 ways 20 minutes ago. That's pretty fucking funny. Yeah, I mean, I think this guy's pretty, from what I've seen, pretty pathetic. I mean, really, yeah, that's really pathetic. Then that claim was supposedly your entire argument. That's really pathetic stuff. I mean, and this guy's supposed to be critical, like the title card says, King Uncritical, right? That's what we should start calling him, King Uncritical.
Marketplace. It was a little bit too big for our car. The person from whom we bought it said, "Oh, it's okay. I can drop it off for you."
The Zulu debate was April 24th. Yeah, so he actually should have understood that this isn't what we believe, because that debate. Wait, no, 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 never mind. Other way around. I guess the debate was after this, so if I think right, so it's after this. Oh, I guess maybe you can give him a little bit of a slack there, but I mean, like, even still, like, this isn't a good argument, regardless of if he had a debate with a libertarian yet, you know?
in my car for
What's up, Notorious Zero? Hello.
free. When they said this, I did not say to them, "No, you can't, you stupid idiot. You are clearly unaware that actually you will be spending money on doing that. It will, in fact, not be free, but rather you will have to pay for petrol to drive it over. That costs money. It will also take some
Click description to see the exact day. I'm pretty sure like March 17th or something. It was March 17th, 2026. So this video came out before the Liquid Zulu debate. We have a much better nickname than King Uncritical for him, but I don't know if YouTube. Oh, well, if you can find a way to give me the gist of it without saying some obscenity, then go ahead. Yeah, but again, I mean, just to reiterate, like our argument is not that you know, these quote unquote government backed free things are bad because someone has to pay for it. It's because it's bad specifically because people are being forced to pay for it against their will, right? That's why it's bad. So let's imagine that if you had like some sort of covenant community. Now, I don't think this would be a good practice for a covenant community for other reasons, but strictly on a legal analysis, let's say that everyone in this covenant community was agreeing to pay for healthcare for everyone, such that if you joined the covenant community, you would you would get access to free health, quote unquote, free healthcare, and you had to pay some sort of like small amount of money for it, right? I don't think that's a good way to do it, but it is a possible way to do it that is legal. Um, that is completely different than what the state does. The state doesn't come up to you and be like, "Oh, hey, I'm the state. I'm just this little state. I'm really innocent. Can I please have a little donation, please? Just a little donation for my health care." No, the state comes up to you, gets men with guns to your house if you don't agree, and it forces you to pay, right? So it's not that something is being like some sort of like collective community resource that it's bad. It's bad because people are being forced to pay for this. Um, yeah.
of your time that you could have been doing something else with. I would say that we should all be aware that my videos are not free. It's not free for you. You think that you're watching these videos and it's free? No, it's not free. It's not free for me because
Yeah, but King Critical, are you being forced to make these videos? Does the state come to your house with guns and say, King Critical, you must turn on your camera and make videos right now?
I have to take time that I could spend doing other things. That I could spend maybe doing things that might earn more money or something like that. But either way, it's just time that I could enjoy. And again, time is money, time is valuable. But I take that time and I make these videos. So you maybe thought these videos were available for free, but no, actually that's quite foolish of you. They're not in fact free. They cost me time and perhaps money. They're not free, for example, for my wife.
And I mean, again, like, I think, like, let's look at, like, what a covenant community might look like. I'm sure there would be some sort of, now it wouldn't be collectively owned like the state says it would be, but I'm sure there'd be some, like, free to access areas. Like a covenant community might have a park. And I suspect that they would probably make this little community park free because it would draw people in, and that's a good incentive, if you have a nice, pretty looking covenant community. And so I suspect a lot of parks probably would be free, because it'd be profitable for the CEO to make this park free. But we're not saying, oh, it's automatically bad because it's free, like, quote unquote, free to access for the people of this covenant community. We're saying it's not bad because no one's being forced to pay for this park. Now, if the owner of this covenant community, yeah, and the owner of this park came up to people and said, they like with guns and stuff, and said, "Hey, I know it wasn't in your contract, but you will now be forced to start paying for this park, or else I'll shoot you in the face. And you have to be forced to pay for the upkeep of this park." Now that's very evil, right? Now it's evil. So we have to look at this and say, okay, is there aggression? We have to do a legal analysis. Ale Anarcho Econ. Indeed, Ale Anarcho Econ. Um, Incredible. I used to watch him years ago. Yeah, I mean, I watched like his stuff on like transgender people, but like I said at the start of the stream, I didn't really know like that he was interested in anything else. I literally only saw his like transgender stuff. But yeah.
She's not able to. There's things maybe I could be doing around the house. I don't do when I make these videos. There's time we could be spending together. This is not free, as you can tell. As you can tell, as you can already ascertain, it is deeply inhuman to understand the concept.
Yeah, nothing deserves to exist if it can't sustain itself, right? If something can only be sustained by forcing other people with violence and aggression, if it can only be sustained with violence and aggression, then it shouldn't exist, right? It's evil.
Of things being free in this way, where you think that because someone somewhere has to pay the price for them, therefore they're not free. In some sense, that is exactly what makes things being free meaningful
I mean, dude, like just holy straw man. I mean, really, just holy straw man. That's all.
in the first place. The point is that yes, someone had to pay the price, but you get it for free. Isn't that nice? Now, I do understand someone might say, well, hold on a minute.
It's actually crazy because our reaction was so long and he ignored all of our main arguments in favor of using a few small clips that make us look bad if you claim that's all we. Yeah, I mean that's really ridiculous. I mean that's just really really shitty stuff. I mean you'd expect like maybe he could actually take one of your good arguments and then do like a really bad job debunking it. But like to just completely ignore the arguments you're making, that's just really shitty.
If you are someone who earns enough money that you're paying more in taxes on the healthcare system than you're getting out of it, then it's not even free for you. That is true. Again,
Yeah, so now you have to justify this like aggression, right? You have to justify theft. And I'm sorry, but you haven't done that yet. Right? You haven't justified theft. You've essentially just said, "Oh yeah, this stuff happens and someone has to pay for it, but that's okay." It's like, well, why is it okay that someone has to be forced to pay for it? Right? Why is that okay? Justify why some people, some class of people should be forced to subsidize the existence of another class of people despite no wrongdoing on their own part. Right? Why is that good? Why is that virtuous?
the point there would be that when we say free, what we mean, and this is a term that's often used, is free at the point of access. Yes, you're right. It is not free. Someone has to pay the cost.
Again, why should that person be forced to pay the cost? Why? Um, you don't get it for free, but I get it for free. How dare you be so inhumane to stop me from robbing you? Yeah, like literally. Like, let's just look at like if a poor guy goes up and robs a rich guy, well, now the poor guy's having a pretty good time probably because he has all this extra money, and the rich guy, he just lost out on a bunch of money, and that's exactly the same as what he's describing right now, right? The rich guy, he's paying more into the system, and he's not getting out what he could get out of it. Um, and the poor guy is getting out. So how is why is this robbery justified? Right? Why is this justified? Um, to be absolute as good faith as I can to King Critical, I think he's just too stupid to understand good arguments, so he could only respond to Mix making fun of him. I mean, I don't know. I think a lot of the arguments, like the stuff I'm saying right now, it's not super high level. Hello, Rion. But yeah, I mean, I'm not saying anything really high level. I'm just pointing out a distinction between forcing people to pay for something and people voluntarily paying for something. Yeah.
But it is free at the point when you use it. And that is not a meaningless distinction. First of all, of course, it means that you don't have to immediately have some horrible tragedy requiring, let's say, in the case of free healthcare, some tragedy then tied up with, oh, and now here's a bill. It
But there was a bill before. Honestly, I don't really think this is a very meaningful distinction because it's like, yeah, you're paying for it either way. So it's just, oh, you're paying for it now or you're paying for it, before and later. Like, I don't see why that really makes that big of a difference. But again, I mean, this isn't talking about the fundamental point, which is whether or not it's funded with aggression, but I'll let that go.
genuinely seems, again, I'm going to use this word, it's the word of the day, inhuman to me that someone would say, oh, sorry for your loss, here's the bill.
Why? Why is that inhuman? Right? Someone has something bad happen to them, and you're saying someone else should be forced to go right this wrong, supposedly, and then they shouldn't ask any recompensation any compensation. Right? Something bad happens to someone, and then someone else should be enslaved to that person without any compensation, and that's apparently virtuous? What? Like this is literally what he's saying. He's saying if something bad happens to someone, however we arbitrarily define that, someone else should be enslaved to them to go fix their problem, and then there should be no compensation given to that other person. And if they ask for compensation, if they say, "Hey, you know, I'm not going to help you unless you give me something in return," then that's inhuman. It's just you're just an evil, brute, inhuman person if you ask for something in return for doing a favor for someone. You're just an evil, brutish person. Yeah.
Even joyous moments. It is absolutely bizarre to me that when couples in the United States give birth to a child, there is a hospital bill that comes with that.
Why is that inhumane? Should the hospital be enslaved to pregnant people? Should the hospital be enslaved to pregnant women? It's like all the doctors, they just have to help these pregnant people. They just have to, or else, you know, the big government agency comes down and puts them all in a cage. Like that is slavery. You are describing slavery. That's what you're saying. That is what you are saying. You are saying slavery is justified because it's really mean if you don't have slavery. Like, why should I feel bad for all the fucking pregnant women who have to pay the bill and not feel bad for all the doctors who are being forced to subsidize the pregnant lady people and literally being slaves to the pregnant people? Why should like you just only focusing on one supposed like victim class? I was like, why isn't the person being enslaved part of the victim class too? Bills is inhumane is his main point so far. Yeah, pretty much. It's like, oh, you have to pay for things you want. That's literally inhumane. And we can make a bit of a deeper distinction here. It's like, okay, why is he drawing this arbitrary line at like these, I guess you could call them big events in your life? Like, oh, you have a family member dying, or oh, you're giving birth, like these big moments. It's like, why isn't just every bill as such inhumane? Like, what if I want a lollipop? Why isn't it inhumane that um someone's asking me for money for this lollipop, right? Because you know if I have to pay for this lollipop, I'm having to deprive myself of this like $1 bill or whatever if I want to get this lollipop, right? So how is that not inhumane? But it is inhumane at some arbitrary level of deprivation for some goal, right? He's just drawing an arbitrary distinction. A viewer actually says the slavery thing, and he unironically responds to that comment saying, "Yes, we should force people to do good things." Which again, his morality is entirely subjective. Yeah, I mean that is we should force people to like. How is forcing people to do good things? That's a contradiction in terms, right? You're saying we force people to do good things, but the force itself is a bad thing. Clearly, slavery is bad. So, I mean, you're doing a bad to supposedly do a good. I mean, I don't know. It just seems like a contradiction. How can that be a good ethical society where you just have to enslave certain people? I wonder what he would say his principles are. Probably that like you should be a wholesome Chungus good guy. He thinks just abstracting the cost to someone else, the cost of someone he doesn't see makes it so it doesn't exist. It's very stupid to say the least. Yeah, certainly. And I think on his premises, right, no one should pay any money for anything. It should just be, I think if he was consistent, he would just be a complete full communist. And maybe he is. I don't really know this guy well enough. But again, he's saying that if something you want is you're being made to pay for that thing that you want, right? The pregnant lady, she wants a doctor helping her. The guy who has like a disease, he wants a doctor helping him, right? If you have something you want, and then the person who could provide it to you says, "Hey, give me something in return," apparently that is fundamentally evil. So why can't we apply this to literally every single transaction ever? Why is it evil for someone to ask for a $1 bill in return for like a lollipop, right? Why I mean why isn't that evil, right? On your premises it should be because they're having to sacrifice something for the stuff they want. Um at least he's taking his creed consistently and this is what it leads to. It's really mean and inhumane that that little kid that runs down the lemonade stand wants me to pay him so I can drink lemonade. I should just be able to have as much as I want for free. Yeah, exactly. I think he would need to justify complete communism on his terms. And you can see that he really is just adopting the full altruist creed. Right? He's essentially saying what is good on his terms is when you essentially give people stuff for free for nothing in return of your own. That's what is good. So altruism is good, right? Sacrifice for the sake of sacrifice is good on his terms. That's what he's arguing for. Sacrifice for the sake of sacrifice. And that's what altruism is. So he's biting the full altruist bullet right here, or he would need to bite the full altruist bullet here if he was being consistent. He's at least a socialist. He's reposting pro CCP stuff. Yeah, I mean that makes a lot of sense. Um, yeah,
That is insane to me. That having a baby in the United States costs money. Now, yes, I
why?
am aware that it costs money for everyone because someone has to pay that money. But the point is, there is a deep inhumanity in providing that hospital bill in return for the baby.
You know what's really inhumane? Forcing doctors to do things they don't want to do for the supposed collective good. That's what's really inhumane. Slavery. This is how slavery is justified, by the way. Like, look at like what all the dictators and like ethnic people, all the not ethnic people, all like the ethnic discrimination people throughout the past, like the dictatorships that justify themselves on like some sort of ethnic collective guilt. They were justifying slavery using these same terms. It's like, oh, we just need Hitler was like, we just need the Jews. They've been charging us all these bills and hoarding all the money. The Jews should be slaves to us, right? They should be giving to us. It's like it's the exact same kind of stuff.
Here's your baby, now pay up. That is something which disturbs me to my core.
Because you have accepted the full altruist set of values and not questioned them at all. But you haven't provided an argument as to why that's bad, right? Why is it bad if people who help other people get rewarded for that with money? Or why is it bad that, people who do a service request some sort of compensation for that service?
Whereas, obviously, what we instead have is a system where everybody collectively pitches in to pay for.
Why? Why should I pay for someone who benefits me not in the slightest, who doesn't benefit me in the slightest, who I'll never see in my entire life? Why would I want that? Right? Why would I want to fucking pay for these people? Why do these people deserve my money? Why do they deserve to be parasites while all of the productive people subsidize their existence and their baby having and all of their crap that this guy seems to be a fan of and their free healthcare, right? Why should all these non-productive people be able to reap the benefits of the productive without actually doing anything themselves? Oh, the argument's essentially just, oh well, because that's really nice. It's like I don't fucking care. Maybe it is like you're a wholesome Chungus guy if you're giving people shit for free. But should you be doing that? Is that good? I don't think it is. And you have to actually justify this. Yeah. And also, hello 308 IV.
Living in a society where people can have children, have those children safely, without having to worry about whether they can afford the hospital bill.
Yeah, you do not collectively pitch in. It's taken at gunpoint. Exactly. Like, please, Mr. King Critical, put your big government, state-backed healthcare crap, put it onto the market and see if people are still willing to collectively support it. And then you'll see how voluntary it is. It's not voluntary at all. People don't want to pay for this shit. People want to pay for their own stuff, and they don't want to pay for other people's stuff. At least productive people. And the parasites of society, they do want other people to pay for them. But why do they get the benefits of productivity without being productive, right? This is the altruist creed. From each according to his ability to each according to his need, right? Why should the productive people have to support the needs of all of these non-productive people, right? It's the whole idea is that these people deserve this thing because they didn't produce it, because they were so impotent, because they weren't able to step up to the challenges that reality puts them with, because they weren't able to do that and other people were. They deserve the production of other people, and that is evil. Also, hello, yeah, yeah, my feelings.
This is not only is it wrong-headed to suggest.
Why? I believe what Zulu has said about this distinction on these big events in your life is ratification of the zero by taking death as a standard, death being not nothingness. I'm not exactly sure what you're what's it called responding to here, but I mean I will say yeah, some people do treat death as like some sort of value. It's like death is not a value.
That the problem with this idea of healthcare being free is that people are, not realizing that there's some cost down the line. But you're also failing to understand
No, the problem is that people are being forced to pay for it against their will.
What is actually, in some sense, being purchased on a deeper level.
Yeah, clearly the ideal society is Omelos, don't you see? Yeah, and that's what he has to argue for, right? Why should one child be tortured and strung out to help all the other non-productive people who couldn't, create wealth themselves, right? Why is that good? Also, this guy seems to just care about having more babies without caring about the quality of those babies or their parents. Um, I mean, yeah, it's maybe on some level.
Here, which is the assurance of living in a society where you do not have to worry that a specific medical thing that happens to you in a given moment might be too expensive for you to be able to afford.
Wow, you really got us there. Dude, you can have mutual aid societies for people who are, actually productive. The argument is that all of the non-productive people shouldn't be essentially expropriating from all the productive people, right? The productive people, excuse me, shouldn't be forced to subsidize the non-productive people. Now, of course, if you have a society full of productive people, these productive people can work amongst each other and say, "Hey, you guys are all my fellow productive people. We're all upstanding citizens here. So let's pitch in and work together if something bad happens to one of us. Because I know we're all good productive people, and none of us want to be parasites. But bad things happen. So it's good if we uplift each other. But that's not what this guy is saying. This guy is proposing that certain people who just never will be productive, never can be productive, should be able to expropriate resources from everyone else. Yeah.
I should also point out, of course, that for some people, it is free. Free school meals are typically, free school meals, free school breakfast programs. These are for children from typically food deprived families.
And why is it good that these food deprived families can expropriate from everyone else? You actually have to justify that. You can't just make this assertion. Now, I mean, I'd probably rather have like starving little kids get food than some like big like state bureaucrat or whatever. But at the end of the day, it's expropriation from one class of productive people to another. If we actually put this on the market and we presume that this food deprived family was they were just trying their best to be good, but life was getting the worst of them, I'm sure someone could help them out. Now, but maybe this food deprived family is very evil, right? Maybe they're like a bunch of crooks and they're thieves, and that's why they're so poor because they have bad philosophy. And it's like, well, why should we be subsidizing people with bad philosophy? Um, all right.
Who therefore are unlikely to be able to earn enough money to pay very much tax at all. As such, this is being covered by a government public budget, and therefore it's being paid for by those who are able to.
And why is it just for, the starving guy to come into a bakery and hold the baker at gunpoint and steal his bread, right? The only justification for that is because this guy didn't produce it, that's why he deserves it, right? Oh, because the baker produced it means the baker doesn't deserve it. That's your argument.
Pay more taxes. But for the people who actually use these programs, it's free for them. And again, as we already established, it is not meaningful to point out that at some level there is a cost incurred to somebody.
It is meaningful to point out that at some level there's an aggression incurred or an aggression that happens. How is that not meaningful? Because if the NAB is true, then that seems like a pretty bad thing, and you haven't disputed any of that. So all you've pretty much done is say like, oh, these libertarians make me feel so bad because they don't let people steal from other people, right? They don't let parasites in their society, and that's so sad because what about all the poor little parasites? It's like I don't care about them. They can go be productive, right? If the parasites learn how to go be productive, then good for them. I'm truly happy for them. I think that's good. But if they can't, then why should I be forced to subsidize them? Um, to be fair, it's actually hard for me to hate the guy too much as he had one of the few people who argued in good faith in his debate with Zulu. Yeah, but then he comes in and he's in really bad faith later on, though. Also, hello, Black979. It's also not free for the poor either. Yeah, certainly not. Like, even if it's monetarily free, um, all of the higher order effects of this are certainly very bad for even these poor people. As we established, didn't properly establish it. Yeah, I mean, certainly. This is like reading Hoppe, but from the complete opposite position. I'm not exactly sure what you're responding to there, but
Because as I've clarified, we do not care about this. The other thing I should say is that, of course, because planned economies are so much more efficient than markets.
what? Where did you get that from? They're just so much more efficient? Like just be so clearly it's just because planned economies are just so much more efficient. I mean, no one would ever dispute that, right? I mean, I think, you libertarians, you might disagree with us here and there, but one thing we can clearly all agree on is that planned economies are just so much more efficient. Like, what the fuck are you talking about, man? What on earth are you talking about? I mean, come on, dude. Economic calculation problem. Solve the economic calculation problem. Please, please solve the economic calculation problem. I would love you to see it. Why why is it more efficient for one guy to be in charge of literally everything instead of a million different firms and corporations all internally competing with each other and externally competing with each other and all just completely just in a complete state of market with you have all of the prices going on, all of the price factors. You actually have people able to express their demands and make purchases. And then apparently the centrally planned economy is just so much more efficient. Like, I mean, Jesus Christ, man. I mean, this is just yeah, like Thanalingo says, please solve the ECP. Funniest shit ever. Mises is rolling in his grave. Yeah, I mean, this is just you could create infinite energy from Mises rolling in his grave right now. Yeah, I mean, this is just nonsense. I mean, I think even most socialists can recognize this. It's like the economics war was won back in like the early fucking 1900s, right? Mises destroyed the socialists a long time ago, and a lot of the socialists they actually accepted this, and then they moved on to different battlefronts. They were like, okay, yeah, even though the centrally planned economy won't be as efficient, right? It's more ethical because inequality's bad, or like they're like, oh well, the dialectical process just necessitates that communism will emerge and it around all surplus labor value and shit like that. You know, socialists normally fight on those battlefields, but they almost never say centrally planned markets are more efficient. I mean, yeah, and how does he think planned economies are better? How does he get there?
Actually, to an extent, some of this stuff is free. For example, advertising. Advertising is one example of an inefficiency in the market.
Okay, I see what Project ANCAP's saying. Yeah, it's inefficient because of advertisements, I guess. I think that's what you said. Someone said advertisements. Um, like how the fuck is an inefficiency in the market advertising? Right? How does that follow? How does that actually matter at all?
If, let's say, healthcare was entirely from private providers, those private providers would have to produce advertisements,
Indeed, yes, they would. Why is that bad though?
marketing to market why they are the best provider.
And that's good, right? If you have a really good provider out there, it's good that they're getting their name out there.
Now, what that means is that that marketing that I'm watching, it's not free. It is being paid for by the people who have to purchase the healthcare, right?
That's not an inefficiency in the market though. Because presumably this advertising, or else they wouldn't do it, is very profitable, right? The advertising is helping people recognize what this business is, and then they're getting even more money, the company, right? So that's not inefficient. An inefficiency in the market would specifically be if one of these like healthcare firms was like somehow centrally planned or whatever, and the healthcare firm was like somehow running into the ECP or something like that, or like there was like one really big healthcare firm, and it got to the size where it's like it would start facing the ECP even though it was a private company, right? It's like the advertisements aren't an inefficiency by the very fact that they're profitable, right? They can't be unprofitable. They just can't be because they are profitable. I mean, they can't be an inefficiency because they are profitable, right? That's what it means to be efficient on the market. It means that you're being profitable. Because specifically, represents people efficient allocations of resources and people getting their demand satisfied, right? If you're not being profitable, it means you have resources allocated in the incorrect areas, right? That's what it means when you're saying I'm not profitable. It means I'm putting resources in the wrong areas. And if these firms are engaged in advertisements, well, that specifically means, well, let's say they're profitable when they're advertising, because I don't know why the fuck else, well, I don't know why they would advertise if they weren't profitable. So if they are profitable when they're advertising, that specifically means that they're allocating resources in the correct area, right? Like, this is completely ridiculous. He thinks efficiency is what I like, pretty much. Yeah, I don't think he understands what efficiency is at all.
Purchase the healthcare. That healthcare then goes, up the line to the top of the company, and then it goes down to the marketing department. The marketing department doesn't actually generate any value directly,
Yeah, it does.
but they are incredibly valuable to a company.
They don't generate value directly, but they're incredibly valuable. Maybe it's because they're directly creating value for the company. They're directly bolstering the company's public image, right? Which is certainly very valuable.
In a free market system. Because in a free market system, marketing your product, making people aware of your product, that's very important. But it's only important because this is a free market system where people have to, where consumers have to be fought for in a state-run system where there is no choice when it comes to people using these options. No,
Like, this just sounds so evil. Like in a state-run system where there's no choice, and that's like what he's advocating for. But either way, does the state not have to advertise? Like, what is like just like look at like if you go into like a communist China area, like look at this shit. Like you see like 1,000 fucking communist flags and all of this what is it? It's advertising for the communist government. Because guess what? The state also has to advertise its programs and propagandize the citizens or else the citizens won't like that, won't like the state. So indeed the state also has to advertise. This is complete nonsense. Like, does propaganda not exist? Because propaganda is advertisement for the state, essentially. I mean, that's pretty much what it is. At least state-ran propaganda. Yeah, even the state uses propaganda. Yeah, it's like, of course the state has to advertise, right? King Critical just has to read Gentile and he will become a fascist. He's 99% there because he believes state monopolization is best. Yeah, he could probably easily be convinced by like Lenin or something like that, right? He just, I mean, he actually believes that not giving the people a choice, having no choice for the people, um, for what they consume is good. Like he thinks that's good. He thinks not having a choice in these things is good. I mean, that is just so evil. Like, I don't know how he's advocating for this and calling us libertarians inhumane. I think stripping people of all of their choices and forcing them into certain, you know, state-selected categories and jobs and programs, I think that's evil.
no, it's just something that you pay for automatically out of your taxes and you get access to because you pay for it out of your taxes. There is no need for a marketing department. And I'm not going to suggest that there aren't obviously people in the NHS who, for example, have to.
And again, like this isn't an inefficiency in the market because it's profitable, which means resources are being allocated in the correct areas, right? That's what it means for something to be profitable. And so, if we're claiming that this is an inefficiency in the market, like, what standard of inefficiency are we even using? Clearly, it's a very weird standard of inefficiency. It's really you could only come up with some like arbitrary one, which was like oh I don't like this.
Produce, little booklets and stuff about certain health issues and things. Obviously, there will be some things that need to be produced to spread awareness of things like that. I understand that, but
Yes, I'm paying for it, but it's free. Expropriation is not payment. Yeah, exactly. He's definitely never read about the ECP. Certainly not.
there's not going to be that same need to produce adverts designed to actually get people to use the services of the hospital because that's not necessary, right? So that's an example of where the fact that it is free state-funded healthcare makes it actually free for me. Like there's actually a cost that is being lessened.
What about the fact that the state can control all of the fucking costs and force you to pay all of the costs in a free market? There's actually competition to lower the costs, so you're going to pay comparatively much less. How is that not a cost that's being lessened? Right? I mean, if we compare privatized healthcare to state-backed healthcare, the state-backed shit is 1,000 times more expensive. The privatized stuff is much more cheap. So how is that not a cost that's being lessened? Right? So if the standard of efficiency on the market is a cost that's being lessened, certainly the market's a million times more efficient because it actually allocates resources effectively and makes it possible to lessen these costs. It's not just being a central planner and arbitrarily saying, I think we're going to have 20 ambulances and 11 doctors. And no, this free market's actually going in and figuring out the correct allocation of resources. And that allows it to actually charge at cheaper prices. Holy shit, his idea of an efficient firm is that because the government doesn't have to pay for advertising usually, means the state is less costly. Yeah, I mean, that's completely ridiculous. Again, the government also does have to pay for advertising through propaganda to get people to actually support how evil it is. And, even if I accept that there'll probably be more, at least business advertising on the free market, which I don't even know if I accept that because there's a shit ton of state propaganda. But even if I do accept that, what about the trillion other areas where the free market is, much, much cheaper, right? It's lessening the cost 1,000 times more. Um, no, I don't have a Discord server. Um, maybe I could make one at some point though if people are that interested, but I don't know. Yeah.
There's also things, by the way, that you cannot possibly have without some sort of organized, state funded society at large.
Okay, so we just cannot possibly have these things. Let me guess, roads.
For example, living in a society that is generally free of crime.
You just you just can't have a society that's free of crime if you don't have a state. So it's just literally impossible to have a society that's free of crime without a state. I don't know. What about a voluntary covenant community that kicks out all the fucking criminals? Why is that just, it's a metaphysical impossibility. Like as soon as you have all these rational people, and they're all getting together and they're like, okay, hey guys, what if we wanted to create this society without crime? And so they all get together, they build their homes next to each other, they agree to certain rules. And then a criminal comes in, and as soon as they try to kick this criminal out, the entire fucking world just implodes because it's literally impossible for anyone to have a stateless society without crime. It's just impossible. I mean, let's see his defense of this point, but
That's something which, if we just had a complete free market system, yeah, maybe the very rich places would be able to have that, but I wouldn't be able to travel around the country. Right now, I know that in the UK,
okay, so we have to ask, why are these places rich? They're rich because the people there aren't criminals, right? So yes, when you go to the poor places, even in an anarchist society, the poor places will probably have much more crime. But they're poor because they're criminals, though. So, I mean, yeah, the rich places are specifically going to be the places where people have the correct philosophy. And, why can't those places be free of crime? If people have the correct philosophy, why can't all of the people just agree and all come together and say, hey, we're not going to commit any crimes. And if we do commit any crimes, we're going to kick the criminals out of society and push them into the frontiers. Um, I'd be more than happy to give you your own promotion channel and discuss channel on our Discord. I can also give you ping firms specifically and hope we stream together. Yeah, I mean, dude, I'd really appreciate that. Yeah, thank you. If you want to talk about that more in the future, we can do that off stream, but I really appreciate the offer. Um, all right, yeah, but yeah, my point is, right, sure, places that are rich will be more free of crime, specifically because the rich people have the correct philosophy. So, what's stopping these rich people from just coming together and, or all these people with the correct philosophy from just coming together and being like, hey, let's all get super rich together, and every time some like parasite tries to come in and expropriate from us, let's just kick him out. Why can't they do that? I think that'd be very easy to do, and that's what I would want to do.
I can travel to all sorts of different places and see all sorts of different things and experience all sorts of different microcultures within the UK. And I don't have to worry that in one of those cultures, or one of those societies rather, there's going to be a complete breakdown of the law.
Um, all right. You don't have to worry that in one of these areas, there's going to be a complete breakdown of law. Let's go see this map of Britain that's in the Rape Gang Inquiry Report. Right here. Rape gangs have operated in at least 149 local authority districts across the United Kingdom. Suspected, confirmed. So you can just travel around the United Kingdom without any worry that, the legal system is. What the fuck am I looking at then? This is London, all the big districts, they all fucking have rape gangs raping innocent women and innocent young girls, and the fucking police. Let's see if I can find this, because this pisses me the fuck off. I'm sorry. This pisses me the fuck off, because he's literally. Where is this testimony from this poor girl? Um, where is this? I'm not sure I'm gonna find it, but somewhere in this report, right around here, a young girl testifies that she was a police officer after she escaped a rape gang. A police officer brought her back to the rape gang and said, "Go have fun with her," to the fucking rapists, and the fucking police are just they're handing these young girls over to the rapists, and apparently, the state is just doing such a good job. Oh my god, man! I mean, this is just get out of my face with this crap, dude. Using the UK as a standard of a healthy society where everyone is peaceful and follows the law. Yeah, I mean, completely ridiculous. Yeah, how does he say that with a straight face? He should hate himself for saying that, because that is an evil claim. He's dismissing the fucking 250,000 young girls who are fucking forgot about by the state police and raped. That's what he's dismissing. Yeah, W crash out. That's just, I mean, just fuck this. Yeah, I read this whole report. I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. I'm still getting through it. I'm around, it's pretty long, but I'm around like probably around like here or something like that. Um, and I mean, it's just the most horrendous shit in the entire world. Faceless, nameless man. Um, how's it going, man? What'd you miss? Well, we're reacting to this video right here. And we're almost done with it. We're gonna react to another one after that. So, yeah.
Whereas what those who believe in a complete free market seem to support is a system where, yes, there'll be some nice places where they can afford the good police service and all that kind of stuff, but there'll be other places that are just complete slums where
No, the places where the people have the correct philosophy are going to be very nice, and correspondingly, people are going to set up voluntary, private police forces. And the places where people have bad philosophy, they probably won't do that because they're criminals, and criminals will be criminals. Yeah.
they can't afford anything. And if those nice places are in parts of the UK that I might want to go see, oh, that place is now not available to me.
Yeah. I mean, again, rape gang inquiry report. Um, we just looked at it. Just tell me how good the state is doing. Just tell me, please.
The fact that actually everywhere in the UK is interconnected, everywhere in the UK has a minimum basic standard of societal development
Yeah, clearly. It's just doing so well.
that is subsidized by a tax on everyone, that's a good thing.
And again, why is that good? Why is it good that these, really shitty areas with all these parasites in them, why is it good that those people are able to expropriate from all of the good areas? And, you'll see these shitty areas, they never fix themselves up. They really never do. Like, the state will just keep funneling more and more money into them, or these other, foreign countries, and it keeps funneling all the money into them. It's like they never fix themselves. Why do they never fix themselves? Because they have the wrong philosophy. Just giving a bunch of parasites with the bad philosophy a bunch of money, that will not make them change their philosophy. It's just they're gonna do as parasites do, right? They're gonna use up all the resources and then look to the next handout. Your need to not apply a duty upon me. Yeah, exactly.
That's something that I'm getting, if you like, for free. The fact that I can go, I don't have to pay a toll when I enter, wherever, let's say Lincoln, because I want to see Lincoln Cathedral.
Yeah, and you're being charged a shit ton of money in taxes. So I mean, this isn't. Yeah, you do pretty much have to pay a toll, right? You're paying taxes. You're paying for all of this. Why is it different if you just pay a toll, like, when you cross into this, private covenant community, than if your state is forcing you to essentially pay a toll, but via taxation. In the covenant community, at least they're going to compete to be like lowering their tolls because, like, let's say one covenant community or one little anarchist area, they charge $1 trillion as their toll. No one's ever going there. At another place, they charge 1 cent as their toll. They're probably going to get too many people, right? So there's a correct toll. How do we discover what the correct toll is? Put it out onto the market.
For the fact that the people in Lincoln, maybe they aren't as rich as the average person, and therefore, if it was a complete free market system, they might not be able to afford a police presence that could keep me safe.
Yeah, and why aren't they rich though? Is it because they're criminals or are they just systematically oppressed? It's like, who is systematically oppressing them? Who is doing this oppression? I don't see anyone doing the fucking oppression. I just see them committing a bunch of crimes, and you could actually argue that they're oppressing other people, right? Because they're criminals, and criminals are oppressors, right? Criminals are aggressors who aggress against other people and subjugate them and force them to do the criminal's bidding. So they are the oppressors. All of the appeals to emotion are a front for legitimizing state violence because his favorite hobby is armchair theorizing about how he'd run a utopian society if he was an all-powerful dictator. Yeah, and apparently, the economic calculation problem doesn't exist, and the dictator is just the greatest guy of all time. We've never seen a bad dictator of all. Um, my local private park has a $250 toll, and it's clean, beautiful, and I get taken on dates there all the time. Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, yeah, with respect to these to these private parks, it's like, maybe it's good if there's a fucking toll, right? Maybe it's a good if there's a toll to go on these beaches. Because, once there's a toll and once there's a private owner, people actually have an incentive to upkeep it, right? If a homeless guy goes into the public park and he starts like defecating over all the benches and like polluting everywhere and throwing trash on it, you know, it's a public park, so no one can stop him. No one can like go kick him out. The state never kicks him out. But if you have a private park and someone starts like defecating over all the benches, I guarantee you that guy will never be in the private park ever again.
No, I don't have to worry about that. It's free for me, and it's something that can only be achieved with a state society. So overall, I won't apologize for saying it. Kind of annoys me. It annoys me that this uh, idea of it's not technically free misses the point so much. Misses the point.
That wasn't our argument. Again, this whole video is a straw man, by the way. Like, and it's not even a good straw man though, because he takes a straw man and doesn't even make good arguments against it. So I think that kind of shows how strong our position is. It's like we have an incredibly strong argument, and then the straw man of that argument is still strong because it's just such a good argument.
Almost an almost an unfathomable amount. And like I said, I mean unfathomable to the extent that I genuinely cannot understand you as a human being. Like, if you say that you're like, well, the reason why, like, one of the main arguments I would present against free healthcare is, oh, by the way, sorry, someone actually said, I didn't even mention this, but someone said, oh, you should respond to Mentis Wave. Mentis Wave made a video debunking my free stuff.
Well, there you go, Mentis Wave.
So
Okay.
Mentis Wave. I actually went onto Mentis Wave's channel and searched for like free stuff. Nothing really came up. Let's just free stuff.
He's losing to Strawman. Yeah, he really is losing to Strawman. Like, he doesn't even do a good job arguing against Strawman.
Yeah, there's nothing like explicitly about free stuff. Yes, so it doesn't just annoy me that you're completely misunderstanding all of these deeper realities.
No, we're not misunderstanding shit. You're misunderstanding all of this. You're misunderstanding our argument. Our argument is that it's bad because it's aggressive, because it's forceful and it's not voluntary. It's not that someone has to pay for it. I don't fucking care if someone has to pay for it. Someone has to pay for everything.
But I think the most insane thing is that you actually think that anyone isn't aware.
The state wouldn't have the right to kick him out, therefore stalling. They must stop it and allow for homesteading, and then these lands will tend to allocate it to their most value productive end. Well, I mean, yeah, I do agree with that, but I think you get my point. It's like generally when you have quote unquote public property, the time preference is a lot higher with respect to that property because no one has an incentive to actually you know, take care of the property. It's just Hoppe's argument.
Of this, and that tells me that how can I understand you as a human being when you clearly don't understand other human beings on the most basic level, that you actually think there is a single person on the planet who is not aware that this stuff that is described as free because it is free at the point of access.
Yeah, no, I think some people truly do believe that it's just free. And again, why is there a distinction between free at the point of access and not, right? Why is that distinction? Like insurance, for example, excuse me, I guess is like free at the point of access because, let's say you have a free market society, right? Most people are probably going to pay for some sort of private insurance agency or whatever like that. And they're paying into it their entire lives, but then they break their leg and the insurance company covers it. So it's like I I don't see I mean, that's got to be free at the point of access. But why the hell is it in a different category than just paying the bill, right? I mean, what's categorically different here? Like you're just paying at different times. Like, what is categorically different if like I say, hey, I'll pay you back in a day once I get my paycheck, or if I just pay you right now? I don't think anything's like I don't think it really it's a weird distinction to make.
Actually cost money. It genuinely unhinged. Like, absolutely, I cannot think of a single political.
Yeah, I sure wonder why all this propaganda calls it free. Yeah, the propaganda is calling it free, specifically because it's trying to convince people that it is free, like genuinely actually free. Like people do actually believe that this shit is free.
Ideology that more so completely fails to understand the most basic reality of how human beings work.
The most basic reality of how human beings work, according to him, is like that we have to be communist altruists who don't expect any compensation for anything and just solely sacrifice for other people. Like it's completely ridiculous. Oh, at the end he says we need a way to insure, and I was like, "Oh, you mean insurance?" And he yeah, exactly. Like if you're so concerned about free at the point of access, or like free at the point of yeah, I guess the word's access. It's like, well, private insurance exists, so why not do that, right? I mean, there would be a lot of insurance on the free market. But anyways, though, yeah, we got through that video. Um, overall, not very good. Certainly not a very good video. He strawmanned us, and he didn't even do a very good job against the strawman. He made ridiculous claims about the police and whatnot. So I guess I think we're gonna do is move on to the next video. And it seems like people would like me to watch this Mentis Wave video, or this video that he made on Mentis Wave, which is wasting my time with a Mentis Wave video on mutual aid. So I do hope that this video isn't too much about like historical evidence, like, oh, actually it was $2.11 instead of $2 flat. It's like because that's more like that's not my specialty, right? I don't know all this historical facts. I just know the theory, and I can apply the theory to history, but I can't like come back with my own historical facts for every like random thing. So hopefully this video on Mentis Wave is more like getting at his general theoretical arguments. Um, it's the same thing with saying your reaction is valid because they use doublespeak to get normal people in with built-in Mott and Bailey. I'm not exactly sure what you're responding to there, but probably. Um, Charity is hecking bad or something. Yeah, he skips all of that. Yeah, there is a new video on Based If True. I haven't watched that yet. You have no idea how bad it will be. This is amazing. So you guys have watched this Mantis Wave video? Oh, hello YouTube. You know what? Yeah, I've heard of none of these.
Hey everyone.
Um, yeah, I mean if it's really that bad, that is interesting. I do think I'm gonna use the bathroom really quickly before we start this next video. Um, so yeah, I'll be right back. I'm gonna use the bathroom and get some more I guess save it. And get some more water and whatnot. But yeah, also, what the fuck is this? Let's get this shit out of here. Yeah, I'll be right back, alright? Right, hello. I think should be working. Okay, yeah, we're back. Let's see what's going on in the chat. Have auto message taking over chat, destroying stream. Yeah, cool. Yeah, I definitely support you guys donating a little bit. Yeah, Selfish is cooking with that message. Great message. I have a feeling he's going to say something along the lines of mutual aid wouldn't work because it just wouldn't, okay? We need more socialized welfare programs. Yeah, I think certainly that'll probably be his argument. Because there really is no argument against mutual aid. I mean, it's perfectly rational for people to buy into mutual aid programs on the free market. It's a great idea. I mean, I would probably be in one. I how do you donate? I actually I have a Ko-fi link, but I don't know how to link that to my YouTube. I'm not exactly sure. Um, so yeah, but I do have a Ko-fi. I mean, you know what? I like money enough to just go find this go get my Ko-fi link and put it in the thing. I really do appreciate any donations and whatnot though. It is I do really appreciate it. It's yeah, thank you everyone. Yeah, just give me a minute. We gotta try to find this link. Here we go. Mm, yeah, just give me one moment. All right, got the link. Give it a second. All right, here we go. I think that should be if that's visible for you guys. All right, and then we'll start on this video in a minute. So yeah, haven't seen this video yet. Fun to rip it apart. Should be. It's so good that the state needs to do it alone. Yeah. Um, to donate on YouTube, you need 500 subs, I think. All right. Well, yeah. I mean, I think we can get there. That does make sense though, because it wasn't letting me link my stuff. All right. Anyway, let's get into this video though. Let's see what he has to say.
One. So some people ask me, obviously, look, I've been going on a bit of an anti-libertarian streak recently, and some people were like, hey, you should respond
Oh,
to
is this in 1.2x? Oh, nice. Okay, cool. Let's still listen.
someone on this issue, which, fair enough, maybe I should. And I've been told to respond to Mentis Wave, and basically a load of people were saying, oh, you should respond to his video on mutual aid. This is like I say loads of people. A few people were telling me to respond to his video on mutual aid.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly why they chose like mutual aid to be the video to respond to him on. Mutual aid's more of like a that doesn't even seem like a very like contentious video. Yeah, everyone here should sub. Very based. Definitely go subscribe. But yeah, mutual aid doesn't seem like a super contentious issue. It's more like just I don't know. It's more just like yeah, mutual aid would probably be a solution. And if you're gonna argue against ANCAP, like mutual aid doesn't seem like the thing to even argue against. But yeah, whatever.
And I'll say this, I've watched the video already. I am just going to give it a quick rewatch so everything's fresh in my mind.
Your first time seeing Anarcho Econ, good content. Thank you, man. Yeah, a lot more to come.
I'm just going to tell you right out of the gate, there's nothing to this video. Like people, you really need to think through what you're asking me to respond to, because I don't know what you think is about to happen.
Yeah, so I watched this video a while ago, probably like when it came out. I don't know. I don't remember exactly what Mentis Wave says, but I know he pretty much just talks about like the the basics of like oh yeah, they had like these mutual aid societies. Um and yeah, they had like a lot of good programs, people could get together and whatnot. The funny thing people still practice that just with their very close relatives. Not exactly sure what you're responding to, but yeah.
But this video is honestly a complete nothing burger. But with that said, let's jump in to fraternal.
The reason they did this is likely due to how he was intent on making the point that healthcare is expensive due to privatization. Yeah, that is, I guess, maybe that is something you would talk about.
Societies and mutual aid, whilst why social safety nets don't need the state by Mentis Wave. Let's see how we do. So, having just watched the.
But yeah, I mean, Mentis Wave's video isn't on healthcare exactly, right? It's what the title says, why social safety nets don't need the state. which is like they obviously don't.
The first 15 minutes of this 19-minute video, I can confirm that basically, so just to clarify, the point of the video is he's saying, well, instead of having, welfare run by the state, we should have these voluntary fraternal societies of mutual aid.
Anyways, the basic explanation of a fraternal benefit society is a private and voluntary lodge-based democratic organization that provided certain mutual aid benefits to its members and their families
Well, I doubt it would be democratic on the market, but maybe.
when they were struck by various life hurdles.
And he basically bulks out the video massively for the first 15 minutes, simply explaining what these societies were. That's it. He just says, these societies, and he gives some examples, and he, basically.
Yeah, so I mean, it's gonna be pretty hard for him to make the positive or I guess negative case here, because Mentis Wave is just looking at history and saying this happened. It's like this just did happen, and it's like what the fuck? It's like it already happened. How can you even claim that it wouldn't happen? It did. Um, Project ANCAP says, I actually was going to do another react on this video, however, halfway into it, we realized he is just repeating all the same claims from the last video without debunking Mentis. Well, that's not surprising, but I guess since I'm already here, and I was requested to react to this video, I'll get through it, but yeah. Um, here we go. Why should the government provide aid to anyone? I completely agree. It shouldn't.
Explains how they operated and explains why it is that they're not as much of a thing anymore, but he hasn't given any arguments yet. So again, I kind of find myself wondering what people were expecting.
Well, the argument's just historical, right? He's just saying, like, hey, this fact objectively happened, and so it would be ridiculous to expect that people just wouldn't do this, because it already happened. And of course, there's more of like you don't really have to look at historical evidence to establish that, but Mentis Wave is, and it's a fine argument. I mean, his argument's essentially that, yeah, historically speaking, we saw these societies emerge, and they did these roles, and they were better than welfare. So, why wouldn't they happen again if we got rid of the welfare state?
When they asked me to respond to this video, because it is just him explaining what these societies were. And, I wouldn't have doubted for a second that obviously, I mean, it's a very well-known fact that before we had social safety nets, you did just
He hasn't given any arguments. That's rich coming from him, indeed.
have these private charities. Everyone is 100% clear on this, so it's sort of a pointless thing to say. Now, with that said, the only question would be, well, if these charities did exist, why don't people like me support them now? And I think there's all sorts of reasons. The main issue I have is that, again, there's a lot, but one of them is that with this, there's no guarantee. And even this guy, as he's explaining these different things, he's talking about how you could get kicked out. He's talking about how some of these charities, they varied whether or not they were going to let you in based on.
Yeah, and that's very good. Like, you have to establish that it's good that really unproductive parasitic people should be able to keep parasitizing from all of the very productive people. Right? Like, the fraternal societies worked so well specifically because they could kick people out and because there was qualifications to enter. Right? That's very good because it actually creates competition. If you just have this one wide overarching service and then yeah, you're gonna have a bunch of parasitic people signing up, and they're gonna be parasitizing. I mean, that's what they're gonna do. But if you actually can kick people out, like let's say there's like one guy, like who joins a fraternal society, and he's initially pretty good, and then later on he starts being like a bum. He just keeps on relying on the fraternal handouts. It's like clearly this guy is not sustainable for the society. Right? Like if we keep on letting all of these people who are just gonna rely on all of the productive people into our fraternal societies, eventually our fraternal society is gonna collapse because we're gonna run out of money to hand out. Right? So specifically these fraternal societies only work for productive people. But we're saying that's good, right? His argument is that, oh, these fraternal societies are bad because bums wouldn't be able to abuse them. It's like, no, we think that's actually good that bums wouldn't be able to abuse them. Like, yeah, we're actually on the same page here that bums wouldn't be able to abuse these fraternal societies, but that's really good. Like, it's really, really good. Um, it's so interesting to watch him because he's so fucking stupid. It's like watching someone who has never had to think in their entire life being forced to do so for the first time. I disagree with this point, therefore it's not an argument. We should start a book club. Well, I don't know what books you would read, but I mean, if enough people want to get into your book club, that's great. Good luck. An argument can be correctly structured while being false. King Critical. That's not the case in Mentis' video. He already thinks people should just get things without compensation, so kicking unproductive and parasitic people out is inhumane or bad or something. Yeah, exactly. It's like, but you have to justify why it's bad. Like, why do these parasites actually deserve to continue their parasitism? Right? It's like, it is just the communist mantra that because they produced it, they don't deserve it, or because they didn't produce it, they do deserve it. Um, oh no, people who get themselves in danger for shits and giggles or pick up habits that ruin their health are kicked out. Yeah, exactly. It's like you can't insure someone for burning down their own house, right? So an insurance agency, they're not going to be able to keep clients that are burning down their own house. Similarly, a mutual aid society, which is literally just a form of insurance, except it's insurance specifically for like, tough times in your life. They can't insure people who are purposely bringing on tough times in their life. Like, this is just Hans Hermann Hoppe. Like, when you have a risk, what do? You get insurance. And when you get insurance, though not all risks are insurable. There's a certain set of risks that aren't insurable, namely the risks that you bring upon yourself by your own volition, by choosing things that would put you in a risky situation, or provoking people to make them do risky things against you. And so how does this apply to the fraternal society thing? Well, if you have a person who's choosing decisions that put them in society in situations where they're constantly like needing to be bailed out by someone else, you can't insure that person.
On your religion, based on your ethnicity, based on your sex.
So there were hundreds of these societies, and they were often very picky with their members, with many of them possessing rituals and behavioral requirements to join, and often had behavioral requirements to maintain membership as well. Because of this, a lot of them had religious or ethnic requirements. While that may seem like discrimination at first glance, there were so many different fraternal
We would read libertarian books or econ. I'm a neat. If you want to go try to set up a book club with my chat or any other people, go ahead. Good luck. That's definitely a good thing, getting more people into the literature. And sometimes some books are hard to really understand or get through, so having other people to motivate you is it's a good idea.
societies to choose from, that people could generally always find a society that welcomed them regardless, that gave a sense of communal belonging.
Yeah, I mean, and it's like it is discrimination, right? Like Black 979 said, it is. But that's good, right? We should discriminate against bad people. Excuse me. And on the point of like ethnic discrimination, well, you're not gonna make very much money if you discriminate against a whole set of people for no reason, right? So if people are just irrationally discriminating against each other, well, that's like, okay, fair enough. But if your whole argument relies on people being incredibly irrational, that doesn't sound like a very good argument, because our case is essentially just that, yeah, uh, if people are relatively rational, there's easily solutions to these problems. And if they're retarded and if they're retarded and irrational and just discriminating against good people for no reason, then yeah, okay, I guess you'll have a bad society. But that applies to everyone, right? If you have a state and the state's really irrational for no reason, and they start discriminating against good people, then it's not going to be good, right? So this isn't a good argument against everyone.
The reality is this guy can talk about all of these different societies and the way that they help certain people until he's blue in the face, but the problem is we all know, and he explicitly basically confirms, that there were people who were not allowed in these societies.
Good! We want some people to not be allowed in societies, right? We want them. We don't want all of these parasites to be allowed into society as a whole, or generally these fraternal societies certainly don't want to allow parasites into their communes and fraternal societies. And like Orbor says, why shouldn't a group of racists be allowed to discriminate? Why would you want racists around the people they hate, right? So if I have let's say I have a racist fraternal society, it's just no black people are allowed. It's like, isn't that good though? Because now this fraternal society is removing themselves from the rest of society, right? This fraternal society is going in and saying, hey, there's all these other people, and we're going to remove themselves from us. The alternative is the state forcing these two people that hate each other to supposedly get along. And this is why race relations have gotten so much worse, because the state is forcing people who hate each other to get along. And it's never going to work like that, right? So if you have like all of these fraternal societies are just discriminating against black people, then why can't all the black people just start their own fraternal society? And again, like I said earlier, like the incentive on the market is for people to not discriminate for no good reason. Right now, there are good reasons, such as someone's really non-productive and they're a bum, but there are bad reasons, such as like, oh, this person's black. Like that's a horrible reason to not let them in your society, especially if they're really productive. Like you have a really productive black guy, you have a very big incentive to let him into your fraternal society because he can uplift everyone else very well, right? So on the market, there's this incentive. And if people are irrational and they don't follow this incentive, then, I mean, I'm sorry that people can do bad things, right?
who were excluded from these societies for all sorts of reasons, and there would have just been people who slipped through the cracks. So that's point one.
Again, and we don't take as a primary that no one should slip through cracks, right? That's not our argument. We as libertarians think that some people should slip through cracks, namely the bad people, the criminals, the crooks. We like when they slip through cracks. This guy is taking as a primary, as an intrinsic value, that no one should slip through cracks, and I reject that.
Point two, of course, is that the way he describes these societies is they basically are just societies that help you out if you have a specific issue. So if you
Yeah.
fall on hard times, then they can give you some money. If you have a medical emergency, then they have, like, the fraternal organization has a doctor they hire, and the doctor can help you out.
If you've been thinking about getting
did I just
Pocket, this is
skip
your
that?
last chance to save
Fuck.
45%. At the tap of
But the most important benefits for cash
Wait,
payments
hold on.
They have, like, the fraternal organization has a doctor they hire, and the doctor can help you out.
Okay.
But the most important benefits for cash payments as a result of not being able to work
It seems as though the thesis of this video is that it's not guaranteed, which I doubt he will justify and isn't even a good argument. Yeah, exactly. He's not really strawmanning the argument here, but he's not presenting an actual argument as to why our argument isn't true. It's a very simple problem of freedom of association. King Critical, of course, has no clue about basic libertarian theory to refute it. Don't like a private institution's rules, then go somewhere else where there are rules that you will like or make your own. Yeah, exactly. You should really switch to another browser or get an ad blocker. Yeah, I should get an ad blocker. I don't know how to get one, unfortunately. Also, hello 308. Yeah, I don't know how to do that, but it would be nice if I had one.
unemployment benefits, building homes and businesses, medical care through a lodge system, sick pay, helping members in their old age, scholarships, and orphanages.
There's no talk here about long-term solutions to problems.
How is this not a long-term solution to a problem, right? Like, you have presumably like a rational, productive person who fell in on hard times, and so you give them a little uplift, and then they can fix themselves long-term because they're rational and they're not going to be a retard, right? And let's compare this to what he advocates for, which is this big welfare state, right? The welfare state just gives people handouts whenever they need a handout, quote unquote, need a handout, right? How is that a long-term solution? That's very high time preference. Like, oh, someone might not get their needs met. All right, fuck them. Justify why they should be able to steal from others. But yeah, it's like, this is just, how is the welfare state providing long-term solutions? Yeah, this literally is a long-term solution. It's literally saying that, hey, you can be in the society for your entire life, and as long as you're generally being a good member, every time you get, you fall in a bad spot, we'll help you out for your entire life. How is that not, like, this is ridiculous.
Problems that deal with systemic poverty. Systemic.
Why is there systemic poverty? Well, there's systemic poverty specifically because people have a bad philosophy, making them be criminals, right? They have a bad philosophy, and so they choose poverty. You don't really see any crime in these rich neighborhoods, and it's not necessarily because they all have like all these really rich security firms. Like, even in just like a regular middle class neighborhood, excuse me again, you don't see people just robbing each other because they have a good philosophy that tells them crime is bad. When you're in these really poor neighborhoods, there's like 10 times more policing, and you still see 10 times more crime because these people have a bad philosophy, right? So it's not the amount of police that makes crime happen, systemic poverty. It's the specific philosophy that people adopt. And so if you have a bunch of people with bad philosophy, yeah, we don't have any solutions for them, right? The solution for them is they need to go reconcile their beliefs and their values with reality and go adopt a good philosophy. But we can't force values on people, right? We can't force someone to believe that theft is bad. We can only hope and expose them to ideas that might show them that theft is bad, but we can't force them to accept that. So yeah, we don't have long-term solutions for those people. But we don't want to solve problems for them. We want to get rid of them.
Quality. He doesn't mention here any possibility of these societies having the ability to build up entire council homes or to renovate areas where the poorest people live.
Why would they want to do that, right? And maybe there's just somehow all of these poor people They were all really rational. They have good philosophy. And then like the entire poor neighborhood got burnt down, right? Somehow like this big fire just burnt down this entire neighborhood, and now all these people are poor, right? Well, then I think there's certainly an incentive for the rest of the society at large to go help these people out, and you certainly would see that. But that's not the case. We're being given these people with chronic poverty who are likely having all this bad philosophy, and now we're supposed to sacrifice for them and help them. I don't want to help them, right? The fraternal society is totally not long term, but a centralized totalitarian welfare state very much is. I totally hate socialism. Yeah, pretty much. Um, Indeed, that's like the biggest lie that cops do jack shit. It's not cops that stop crime in developed countries. It's people who just don't commit them. Yeah, certainly. Um, and we see just how well cops do when there's a significant influx of criminals. Just ask English girls. Yeah, certainly. Go to England, right? Poverty is the natural state of man. Wealth is created by production, i.e., obtaining values. What he defends is the destruction of what creates wealth by defending aggression. Yeah, exactly.
To provide services to people, like public services that would massively improve quality of life of an entire community.
But it won't, though. Like, why, King Critical, if this is truly a solution, do these massive state-backed welfare programs never actually lift people out of poverty? Right? Like, um, clearly they're not doing very well, even though it's literally the majority of the US's national budget. Like, the majority goes to, like, welfare-like payouts. And there's still tons of poor people, right? Why haven't we solved poverty? Because according to people like this, like, we'll have solved poverty if, like, if Elon Musk donated, like, you know, uh, $10 billion or whatever, he could solve poverty and starvation. And it's like, why the fuck hasn't the welfare state solved these problems if they've literally been donating trillions of dollars to these people, like, for the entire, like, last century? Yeah. And they don't commit them in Nordic countries with less welfare, more welfare. Yeah. There's no incentive to provide services people want. Average socialist argument. Yeah, exactly.
In fact, he actually says sort of the opposite by saying, well, there's a huge competition of all these various fraternal societies.
Good.
All right, so that means that would make it much harder for them to cooperate.
Why does competition make it harder for them to cooperate? The free market's very good at solving problems. So if cooperation's a problem, which I don't necessarily know if it is, but let's presuppose that cooperation is a problem. Well, the free market's the best way to solve it, right? The state clearly isn't good at cooperating with other states. Look at like the amount of wars that happen. Even different people in different states, different organizations of different states in different states. They're not good at cooperating. But you don't see like McDonald's and Tesla ever getting into like wars with each other. Yeah.
In contrast to state-run economic redistributive justice, where you can have
redistributive justice. No, it is the opposite of justice. Redistribution is literally necessarily a perversion of justice. It's taking from the productive and giving to the non-productive. It's aggression against the people who produced because they produced. It's the opposite of the good. It's literally the evil.
Have the government just say, okay, we're going to pull all the resources from the entire country and focus on specifically building up these areas that desperately need help because they have serious problems with antisocial behavior, serious problems with unemployment, whatever it is.
We have knowledge and defense, 1054. They don't lift people out of poverty, ignores the New Deal solving the Great Depression. No, the New Deal did not solve the Great Depression. The New Deal made the Great Depression much worse. If it truly did solve the Great Depression, why did it take the New Deal so long to solve the Great Depression, right? Why did it get so fucking bad even after all these New Deal policies? I mean, this is just complete nonsense. Corporations don't go to war. The German corporations literally controlled Hitler. I mean, this is just complete nonsense. I'm not going to debate with you in the comments, but no, Hitler had a dictatorship and controlled all of the private enterprise. Yeah.
Just focus all the issues on that. There's also, so that's I would say two issues. One, you have, this possibility of people just getting left behind, people just not being picked up on.
Again, that's not an intrinsic value. Some people should be, completely gone.
Because there is no guarantee this is going to apply. This is going to be something that comes down to whether or not a specific individual decides to join a specific organization, whether or not a specific organization happens to.
Yeah, is this rage bait? Yeah, complete nonsense. I'm just gonna, if you guys want to go debate with this guy in the comments, go ahead. I'm just gonna leave it be. Yeah.
To be aware of a specific person who's suffering, things like that. Whereas obviously that's not the equivalent to with the state, where it can be applied to everyone equally.
If we don't have an intrinsic value that everybody gets welfare, we don't care about that. That's not, we don't think that's good. So You have to reconcile that.
And then point two is that you can't have these grand projects where you basically just have the transformation of the entire community, which is
Well, you could if people wanted that, right? If this entire community um was very rational and people wanted their continuation, I see no reason why a bunch of mutual aid societies couldn't get together and say, "Hey, I know we normally compete with each other, but all of these people who just had all their houses burnt down, they could be more customers for all of us. So how about we all just roll our sleeves up and get to work building these people's houses back?" Right? Like, why not? Defense is being intentionally dense here. No point in wasting your time. Yeah, pretty
sometimes
much.
when you're talking about certain levels of inequality, that's what really we need to have. Thirdly, by the way, is you've also got the issue of just advertising, making people aware. The reality is that in order for these charities
Yeah, this guy really hates advertisement. It's really completely ridiculous. Mutual aid societies are our thing, genius. No. Please tell me why mutual aid societies can't be capitalist.
and these fraternal organizations to actually be effective. And by the way, I think I've cut him off because I'm pausing just to explain, but I'm pretty sure, having seen this video before, that he goes on to explain that we're probably not even going to go back to the same system of fraternal organizations and just have a much broader idea of charity. You have the
I don't think we'd have a much broader idea of charity. I think we probably would have some sort of fraternal kind of maybe insurance societies or something like that. I don't know exactly how they would form, but um fundamentally it's a risk. And how do you deal with risk? Like insurance. So if you accept Hoppe's private production of defense, you'd probably be more charitable to the idea that these fraternal societies would probably just become some sort of like insurance agencies. And if it was really valuable for people on the market to have like these kind of identities with these societies, like Mentis says, these fraternal societies had like identities, like they had like, oh, a shared religion or a shared culture or whatever. If that was really valuable to people, maybe you would see that being integrated with the insurance, but I'm not sure. We can't really predict that right now. Um, yeah. Man really thinks Ancapistan will have 1984 Big Brother posters, but with ads for McFraternity. Yeah, he really hates advertisement. It's really odd. It's like such a non-problem.
problem of what's it called, advertising, right? That if you've got these individual fraternal organizations and charities that just rely on voluntary support, they have to put a huge amount of effort into getting you to provide that voluntary support. I say one time, literally the last time I went to the
I'm
shop.
sorry, I was reading the chat. I gotta go back for a second.
That just rely on voluntary support. They have to put a huge amount of effort into getting you to provide that voluntary
That's good. So his argument is that it's good that the welfare state can just steal from fucking people and force them to pay for shit they don't want. How is that good? It's good that they have to put a huge amount of effort into getting voluntary support, because if people don't want voluntary support, maybe people really don't want it. Everyone's like, you know what? I don't need any insurance because I'm just I have all this reserved capital that if something bad happens to me, I can just rebuild the next day. Maybe they don't want insurance, and so why would it be good for someone to be able to come and fucking force them to get it? Maybe it's bad. Weird how all of the data points to private companies profiteering off war. I mean, dude, I want to be honest. You're pretty much just spouting nonsense. I mean, if you have something productive to say with respect to this video or the actual like substance of this stream, I mean, feel free to say it. But I mean, if not, I mean, I would probably kind of just appreciate it if you just left, because you're kind of just stirring up a bunch of commie nonsense with the people in this chat. Like everyone pretty much said, no one respects you here. So, yeah, there you go.
support. I say one time, literally the last time I went to the shops, I was going to shops listening to my music on Spotify, and basically, I don't have Spotify Premium, so I was getting adverts.
Oh no, you got adverts. Maybe if it's actually worthwhile to you, you pay for Spotify Premium. If it's not, then stop fucking complaining about advertisements.
got 3 advert breaks in the time it took me to go to the shops, buy my stuff, get back.
Nice totalitarian echo chamber. Yeah, I mean, the people who disagree with the state and think it shouldn't exist are clearly the totalitarians.
Literally every single advert started with, and what's the chance of him having another heart attack? And I was like, I don't want to listen to this. It's a really hot day. I'm walking. I'm stressed. I don't want to be listening to some advert about like the risk of someone having a heart attack. But it was very hot, Then I'd like just turn down, because you can't skip adverts to Spotify. I would just turn down the volume and just like wait until the advert passed. But in waiting for the advert to pass, I could see it was an advert from the British Heart Foundation. Now, first of all, I don't want to be listening to that. I don't want to be like just going about my day having.
I'm so sorry advertisements exist. I Now, do you want to replace them with fucking CCP propaganda? Because I mean, that doesn't seem like much better to me, but all right.
good time and have to listen to, oh, just remember you could have a heart attack. But second of all, is why would I want to give to the British Heart Foundation?
Maybe because they provide a service that's valuable to you. I don't know. Why do you want to give to the welfare state? Because it seems like you value it, right? If you don't want to give to the British Heart Foundation, don't give to it. Like, what are you fucking saying?
So they can spend the money to give me 3 adverts.
Knowledge and defense, 1054. Right now, disprove the non-aggression principle. Right now, if you don't disprove the non-aggression principle right now, or make an argument against it, I'm gonna ban you from chat because you're pretty much just stirring up a bunch of nonsense, and you're not doing anything useful. Now, if you disprove the non-aggression principle right now in your next message, then I'll be happy to let you keep going and disprove our ideology. But if you don't do that and you're just essentially disprove that the non-aggression principle is true, disprove that. But if you just keep on spouting a bunch of nonsense, um, then I don't think that's really productive for this stream.
Within as many ad breaks. My mum gets, so my mum gives a lot to charity. She gets just piles of letters of people saying, charity saying, give us more money.
No. I'm going to ban you if you don't provide an actual argument. Right? Disprove the non-aggression principle right now, and I will, on the very spot, convert and start coming into other people's streams with you and arguing with all the other ANCAPs. On the today, I will stream myself arguing with other ANCAPs in their streams if you disprove the non-aggression principle right now. But I just don't think you will.
And she literally says, and I'm pretty sure she has at least
What specifically? That it's true. Prove that you should initiate conflict sometimes. There you go.
one point said, hey, you have bombarded me with so much of this stuff that I'm not going to give to you. I think I might be wrong, but I feel like I remember her saying this, that she's literally said, I am not going to give you any money anymore because you have just bombarded me with all this stuff. And I can see now that you are spending more money on trying to get me to give more. And that's a problem, right?
Okay, so if this person is using the incorrect amount of advertisement, then maybe the market will lead them to use less advertisement because it's too much and you're scaring customers away, right? So you're not really pointing at anything important because, oh wow, this one specific private firm, did a bad job with the advertisement and scared customers away. Oh no, so bad. Like, how does this have anything to do with mutual aid, the welfare state? I mean, I don't see the connection. Yeah.
Charities have to spend huge amounts of money getting people to give money. Because this is the problem. This is the problem with like voluntary anything. The problem with anything that's voluntary is some amount of money has to be spent convincing people to do the thing, to go along with it.
Yeah, and that's good. We want people to have to be convinced of something before they have to pay for it, right? Like, we don't want people to be able to go steal from other people on their arbitrary whims. You have to actually prove that. Yeah, I mean, this is just like not really an argument. It's just saying, oh, people have to actually work to get money. It's like, yeah, that's good. And Archeon, he hasn't even read his own theory. He said to read Kropotkin, and then I asked him his basic question. He gave the opposite answer. Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised at all. Very, very unsurprising. If you think mutual aid is uncompatible with capitalism, you don't understand what capitalism is.
And that's something that's totally avoided when you don't have this voluntary situation going on. And then the final thing I should just say is that this is intrinsically...
Oh, shit. Why should it be avoided, though, right? We don't want to avoid that. We want people to actually have to consent to things before... Like, you want rape, dude. You want rape. Like, come on, just admit it. Like, you want people to not have to consent to things before it's ethical. Like, you believe in ethical expropriation. You believe in, ethical rape, essentially. That's what it is.
Immoral, because obviously it's a system that rewards selfishness. Like, yeah, okay, it's really nice that people have these voluntary fraternal associations.
Why is selfishness bad? You have to prove that selfishness is bad. Selfishness is a virtue. Probably all of us here in this chat, we think that selfishness is a virtue. So there you go.
But you know what? The richest person in town who just says, I'm not going to give a single bit of money to anyone. I don't care.
Why should he? Why does the richest person in town, why shouldn't he get the products of his value that he produced? Right? Why shouldn't he reap the values that he produced? This is complete nonsense. I think the richest person in the town, he should do what's best for him. And if all the other people in town fucking suck and they're all bums, then I don't think it's good for if he gives them any money. Because why should he subsidize all these bums in their homelessness and bumness? I love communists. It's like watching a lesser species trying to communicate.
Care about anyone. I'm just going to work on building as much money as I can myself. They end up the best off, right? Like that's the thing. I think it's actually quite a problem when you have a system that rewards immoral behavior. And the person who said, like, if there's someone starving on the street, one person has £1 million, another person has £1 million. The person who has £1 million.
So you have to prove what immoral behavior actually is. Like, you can't just say that, like, oh, we need to reward or not reward moral behavior. It's like, you have to prove what immoral behavior is, because we're specifically claiming that moral behavior is actually getting consent before you get people's money, right? And he clearly doesn't think that. So, but you have to prove your moral system before you can appeal to morals. Like, come on. Yeah, okay. I'm being serious this time. Knowledge and defense. Right now, tell me what the non-aggression principle is, or I'm going to ban you. Like, I'm gonna wait until you say this. Just in your next message, tell me what the non-aggression principle is. If you say what it is, I'll let you keep going. But if you don't know what it is, I'm just gonna ban you because you're not arguing against really anything. Still waiting. Still waiting. I moved the goalpost. I moved the goalpost specifically because I don't even think you know what the non-aggression principle is. I asked too much of you before. You're too fucking retarded to even. You can't disprove it because you don't even know what it is. I'm making sure you even know what we're talking about. I don't even think you know what we're talking about. Yeah, I moved the goalpost closer for you. I'm so sorry. All right, in your next message, if you don't tell me what the non-aggression principle is, I'm going to ban you. Like, dude, just come on. All right, whatever. It's just oh, not remove. How do I get this guy's out of here? Um, well, I don't know how to ban him, but 24-hour timeout. So there you go. Close enough. He won't be in this stream anymore. I mean, just come on.
Pounds who gives that person says, "Oh, I'll take care of you." That's a moral thing to do. But he says, to hell with you. I don't care. I'll happily sit there and watch you die. I'm going to take that money that could have been spent keeping you alive, and I'm going to go invest it in some stock.
Now, I mean, we have to look at, like, would that necessarily happen on the free market? Like, if you have this really, let's say you have a really rational man who's just starving to death on the street. It's really rational man, and something bad happened to him. His house burned down completely against his control. And, you know, would society help him? I'm sure they would, because he's a good guy, right? They want, probably people want rational people in their society. So why am I to expect that no one would help this really rational guy who could really uplift the rest of society? I'm just supposed to expect that he's just going to starve to death while everyone, like, laughs at him, right? Because apparently you can't help other people while being selfish. Like, no, you can be selfish while helping other people because other people can be of value to you. Um, there we go. Yeah, brain dead people, completely gone. Um, all right, alt for deleted. You are also back. Um, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure this is the same guy. I mean, I'd appreciate it if you kind of fucked off of my chat unless you have something meaningful to say, but whatever. I mean, I've talked to you in, like, the comment sections of my videos before, and you always just waffle on about complete nonsense and complete just utter crap. So, yeah, I'm just gonna get rid of him again. Um, yeah, I mean, this guy is just really annoying. He comes in the comments of my videos and just fucking randomly brings up assertions. I mean, it's just complete, like, just nonsense. I stopped arguing with him a while ago. I tried to engage with him, like, the first time he left a comment on my video. And then, like, every other video I make now, he leaves, like, some other random bullshit comment. He just waffles on about nonsense.
That person ends up better off. That's an immoral system. That shouldn't be hard to get your head around. A system.
Well, I mean, is it an immoral system where bums don't get to parasitize off of other people? again, like, it's probably not a very good system if really rational, great people are just being left to starve by society at large, yeah, by no fault of their own. But does that like ever happen? Like, as far as I can tell, pretty much everyone who's really rational and they're really productive, they don't ever end up on the fucking streets and need welfare. Like, oh my god, dude, you have a fucking another alt? I'm pretty sure the Alon Dvorkin guy is the same guy again. Like, dude, like, a third? Oh yeah, second alt, so a third account. Like, what do you get out of this? Like, you're just spewing nonsense. No one in my chat agrees with you. Like, you're just completely going on with complete nonsense. Everyone's been refuting you. Everyone's laughing at you, dude. We're all fucking laughing at you right now. We're having a great time. Like, you're getting fucking picked on, dude. Like, you're getting picked on. Okay, another question then bans me for what is the non-aggression principle? There is your question. Quest time. Ba, 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 ba. Ba, 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 ba. Ba, 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 ba. Come on, I did the entire Jeopardy theme song, and you still haven't typed out to me what the non-aggression principle is. I, I'm not asking very much. This has to be a bot. I don't think it's a bot. He comes in my comment section sometimes. I mean, this is just like, this is pretty hilarious. I'm actually having a pretty good time. The non-aggression principle is a foundational ethical axiom stating that the initiation of violence, force, or fraud against individuals or their properties always lead. No, that's actually not exactly what the non-aggression principle is. It's saying the initiation of conflict is wrong. We don't care about violence, force, or fraud. We care about specifically the initiation of conflict. Yeah, so again, it's not the initiation of force against individuals or their property. We get the fact that property rights from the non-aggression principle. Um, and it wasn't your first question, which I answered, and you haven't addressed. Dude, you can't come into my chat, just demand for me to answer your questions, and then be mad when I don't. Like, no, I'm the fucking streamer here. Um, I'm setting the fucking terms. This is my channel. I'm setting the fucking terms. Like, come on. And again, you copy pasted Wikipedia. You clearly don't even know what it is. Like, first of all, the Wikipedia definition isn't correct. Not really. It's like a very rudimentary understanding. And second of all, you don't even understand it enough to give your own definition. My first question, why is the non-aggression principle wrong? Well, I'm sorry, but your answer to that question was wrong. And so I doubled down and I said, okay, can you even tell me what it is? Because you can't disprove the non-aggression principle without knowing what the non-aggression principle is. Ban this AP will run out of alts eventually. Then take it up with Wikipedia. Well, I don't get my fucking legal theory from Wikipedia. I don't care about that. I'm getting rid of you again. I mean, if you have if you have a third alt, I mean, that's just sad. But yeah, I mean, because yeah, apparently I just can't disprove this guy. Well, if the NAP is true, explain why people can violate it. Yeah, I mean, pretty much. Or if your argument's so correct, how come I aggressively misunderstand it? But yeah, if you get your own jesters, it means you're doing something right. Yeah, I'll take it like that. This guy, he's a repeat jester. And I just realized something that was really pathetic. I was arguing with him in one of the comments of my video, like for the first time, and he was in his like I think like alt for deleted or some account. And then another guy came in, and I didn't realize it was his alt, and the other guy came in and started defending him. So I was like, oh, now it's a 2v1. It was just his fucking alt the entire time. This guy got his alt in to make it look like more people actually supported his position to argue against me. But it was really just him the whole time. I mean, like, Jesus Christ, this guy, that's just so pathetic. Like, argue against me with your fucking face like a man, dude.
System that directly rewards selfishness is an immoral system.
Why is a system that rewards selfishness an immoral system? Like, you have to justify that premise. What do you mean, how do you know? I'm not exactly sure. Is this the guy from Twitter who was arguing about anarchy is democracy? I doubt it. I don't know if he has anything to do with Twitter.
A system that directly rewards not giving a single rip about those who are starving, who desperately need your help.
how are they starving? You know, are they starving because they have bad philosophy and because they're criminals and because they're non-productive and they just want to be altruists? Or I mean, and they just want to be parasites, or are they starving, as to no fault of their own? And you'll see if you actually go look at poor people and starving people, it's almost always a fault of their own, right? Every once in a while, you might see like someone who's genuinely just trying to uplift themselves, and I feel bad for those people because I mean, it is true. Some people are born in worse situations, and it's hard to pull yourself out of that sometimes. But if you are rational, I almost guarantee that you'll be able to do so. But it's like if we actually look at the majority of these people, it's like completely just most of them are just it's self-inflicted.
And instead actually punishes.
Pathetic, we wouldn't even keep him as a slave in our empire. I would banish him to the frontiers.
Giving money to people, giving money to help people, by making it so you are then poorer yourself. That's not a good system. Simple enough. Anyway, now we'll just see what it says. Because the thing is, with all this said, that those are all my issues with this kind of, well, not all of them, but just in.
Yeah, if Christianity is so good, why can I violate the Ten Commandments? Yeah, exactly. And it's like the only reason that we need a non-aggression principle at all is because you can violate it, right? Because you have free will and you can violate it. If we were in a deterministic world where you couldn't choose what you were going to do, you were just going to violate the NAP, then we'd have no use for any ethics. Completely forgot about what King Critical was talking about. That guy was hilarious in chat. I mean, he was pretty much so Mentis Wave was saying, his mutual aid stuff, and Critical was King Critical was essentially just saying, well, it's I think he made a couple of claims like, oh, some people could be discriminated against. It's hard for like large scale collaboration. He's saying, oh, an immoral society is one where people don't sacrifice for parasitic people.
General, I mean, obviously, I find libertarianism completely nonsense. But specifically, these are just a handful of reasons. Bearing in mind, he didn't provide a single reason why these systems are better. That's just a handful of reasons why I think they're worse. So,
well, I did, so I don't care.
With that said, let's just look at his reasons why he says they're worse. All right, so basically, he's going to criticize, what's it called? He's going to criticize modern welfare and I guess explain why this voluntary thing is apparently better. So let's see what he says again.
Yeah, apparently better. It's just so bad when people actually get to choose what they spend their money on. That just sucks so much. Yeah. Yeah, we just had no way to beat him. So us totalitarian ANCAPs just had to ban him because we're just so philosophically weak that we couldn't beat the Chad-based communist with his amazing arguments.
He's only got 4 minutes to make this argument.
Well, it comes down to 3 issues: efficiency, incentives, and of course, taxation.
Okay, so never mind. Okay, we've actually managed to now get to minute 16 with 3 minutes left, and he's only now presenting his issues.
First, there is of course the problem of taxation. Government programs are not free, but are instead a system that we are all forced into paying for every time you get your paycheck. This problem should seem obvious, but alas, many people still try to argue that public assistance is free. It's not free. We have to pay for it, and we do pay for it, whether we like it or not.
Yeah, now Mentis Wave's kind of just making the argument that King Critical was responding to in the last video, but he's making it with a very particular caveat. We're being forced into paying for it, right? We can't choose whether or not we want to pay for it. Mentis Wave his claim isn't that it's bad because someone has to pay for it. He's saying it's bad because people are forced into paying for it, and that's his claim. So we're going to see if King Critical strawmans Mentis Wave, or if he actually responds to the being forced into something aspect.
Yeah, so I literally have an entire video where obviously I make fun of this. It's complete nonsense. No.
Yeah, and in that entire video, you completely strawmanned it. And we already went over that video in this stream, so that works pretty well. So his first response to Mentis Wave's point is invalidated. Remember, freedom of association is absolutely a principled libertarian standpoint. He doesn't even have the base level competency to understand that. Yeah.
No one thinks that these things are free. No one thinks that government services are free. Literally 0 people think that.
Yeah, and Mentis Wave is arguing against the forcible aspect. That's what he's arguing against.
You're a fucking moron. So I literally, obviously I have an entire video about this. It's really funny because basically then a while later, I just had a video where I mentioned offhandedly that I support free healthcare, and someone replied and they were like, hey, just so you know, healthcare, it isn't actually free. It's...
Yeah, and arguing against a straw man. That's not what our argument is. We're saying it's bad because it's forcible.
It still costs money, and it's okay. Wait, I'm gonna find it. It's really funny to me. So basically, this was.
We should have titled it King Strawman. I think not King Critical, King Strawman.
This is okay. So It's on my wrong side of history video where I was just talking about like how, obviously making it so people don't die from lacking medical care is a positive development. So here we go. Okay, I said I support free healthcare. This person says there is no such thing as free healthcare. It is a question of who pays and when they pay. And
I mean, indeed, there's no such thing as free healthcare, but again, like that's not the libertarian argument. The libertarian argument is specifically that it's bad because it's forcible. It's bad because it's aggressive.
I replied, I said, I never considered this before. Thanks for bringing this to my attention. Edit, I will pin so everyone can be aware that despite my misleading wording in the video, there is in fact no such
Peasant straw man, indeed. If you're so correct, why do I aggressively misunderstand everything you believe? Yeah, pretty much. My opposition is correct, but it doesn't matter because I don't care. Yeah, pretty much. His arguments against trans identity are far more coherent than this. Yeah, I definitely agree. I remember watching like a little bit of one of his trans videos a while ago, and I mean it was pretty boring, but it was like okay, like it was like yeah, I mean he's pretty correct here. Like it put me to sleep, but yeah. Is he crashing out at some conservative guy right now? Yeah, pretty much just some random guy in the comments. He's not presenting the libertarian case. Conservatives would be more likely to point out that it's not free. Libertarians would call it theft, slavery, or a rape of private property. Yeah, exactly. Conservatives would be like, oh, well, it's not free. Stop calling it free healthcare. Someone has to pay for it. It's like, okay, well, that's not actually establishing anything at all. Obviously, that is a non-argument, but
thing as free healthcare, since someone does have to pay at some point. You've provided an invaluable service. Obviously, I pinned that as a joke. It's got 33 likes, and my reply has received 8 likes. And then, someone else responds like a very honest answer. My question is, does anyone like realize that I did this as a joke? I'm not sure, because obviously some of my videos get more views than other videos, and a lot of the times certain videos of mine might get more views from certain people. I am genuinely interested if anyone realized that I was making fun of this person, because yeah, spoiler alert, I was making fun of this person. This is obviously
yeah, he's against trans identity, but that's inhumane, right? It's kind of weird where he's coming from. Like, I don't really even know what his ideology is. It's kind of odd.
It's an incredibly stupid thing to bring up. And if you bring it up, you're a moron. So obviously, what was I talking about? Mentis wave. All right.
Yep. So, yeah, like 308 said, ANCAP debunked. There you go. ANCAP debunked because I aggressively misunderstand what Mentis wave was saying.
So yeah, obviously that doesn't matter. Yeah, like this is a stupid thing to bring up, and you should feel embarrassed for mentioning it.
Second, government programs are not efficient compared to private charity. This is not a right-wing talking point, this is a proven fact. In a study cited by the Advocates for Self-Governance and published on the Mises Institute titled The Cost of Public Income Redistribution and Private Charity.
I love that. I love that so much. That's so funny. This is
What's so funny about it? Simply destroyed ANCAP will never recover. Yeah. He's a turf social dem. Okay. Fair enough. Yeah, I mean that makes sense. He seems like a status quoist. It's pretty much just like, oh, I love the status quo so much.
not a right-wing talking point. It's a proven fact.
I mean, it's a little bit of like right wing, but it's more like a libertarian talking point. Like the right clearly doesn't actually consistently believe that because they'll still they'll still argue for some welfare and a lot of military spending and like social security. I mean, I don't know. You could argue they're not being consistently right wing there, but I mean, if we're just talking about like what the Republicans say, then yeah, I mean they're not taking that consistently. It's certainly a libertarian talking point.
In this article published by the Advocates for Self-Government from the Mises Institute, which I'm now presenting to you from the Journal of Libertarian Studies. Stupid. All right, let's hear.
I guess just because the Mises Institute takes a stance on issues, it's just retarded, I guess. I mean, what the fuck? Most of the right is socialist at this point. Yeah, I mean, it depends on what you define as right. I feel like if we're being technical, right is kind of just libertarianism. But I mean, if you just mean it more as like what Republicans are saying at this moment, and I'm not saying you're saying that or anyone's saying that, it's like I don't know, but yeah, Republicans, like you said, are essentially just they're just socialists. No right or left, it's freedom or slavery. I mean, yeah, it's pretty much what it says if you just take it to its logical conclusion.
If there's any actual argument.
They found that most of the resources for state public programs goes to actually maintaining the bureaucracy of that public program.
Yeah, and this is certainly true. State public programs are very bad, specifically because of the economic calculation problem, but also because they have incentives to be bad, right? Like, if the state's doing really well, like let's say the NHS starts doing really well, it starts running under budget. Well, now that budget can be cut, right? But if the NHS is doing really badly, well, now we have to raise the budget, or else the NHS is going to collapse, right? So it's specifically with these big state-backed programs, the worse they do, the more money they get. Like, genuinely speaking, the worse they do, the more money they get. On the private sector, though, the worse they do, the less money they'll get, the less investment they'll get, and the more they'll go out of business. So it's like, clearly, if we're rewarding incompetence, we're not going to do very well, and that's specifically what the government does, right? And we also see they have no profit incentive, right? The government has no reason to do well. They have no reason to be efficient, right? If the politicians don't do a good job running the NHS, oh, we'll just give it more money and it'll solve everything, right? It doesn't actually affect them though if the NHS starts doing poorly, right? Their coffers don't start getting diminished. It doesn't affect them at all. The ECP one shots everything this guy believes. Yeah, pretty much. Because he's not even like one of the like communists who's like more consistent, where he's like, oh yeah, we don't actually want a state, we just want a big collective. And if you want to refute that, you have to actually go into some more philosophy. Now, it's not a good argument, but you have to go into more philosophy. When your ideology is essentially just the state should control everything, well then that's just complete nonsense. Yeah. When was the Zulu debate with this guy? I haven't seen it yet. You know what? I'll just go find it for you. It seems like some people are interested. Let's go and open a new tab on YouTube. Mm, not, uh, it's this right here, debating King Critical and Libertarianism, and it's interesting. It's more of like a I don't know. It's more of like just a conversation that they're having, and yeah, he aggressively misunderstands it. And like one of his biggest contentions is like, "Oh, I want national parks," and then Liquid Zulu's like, "Oh, well, people could still like privately own a big national park or something. A big, it wouldn't be a national park, but a big like park of like pretty area, and then charge an entrance fee." And he's like, "Oh, well, I forget exactly what he says, but he has this like really weird argument, and I mean, King Critical has this really weird argument where he's kind of like, oh, well, people want these parks, but they wouldn't be willing to pay for them." And then it's like, what the fuck are you even talking about? It's like, so people apparently really want these national parks, but they wouldn't be willing to pay for it. It's like, I don't buy that for 1 second. But yeah, I mean,
at a 70-30 split.
All right, so this is obviously a pretty stupid point. So a few things.
so this is a stupid point, apparently. It's a stupid point to bring up that the government's completely wasting money on bureaucracy. Like, how is that a stupid point?
Consider maybe one reason why this is less the case for private charities is because private charities are smaller. Like maybe one reason why a lot of money goes to bureaucracy, or more money goes to bureaucracy when you're dealing with the state,
is because it's inefficient and bad, and they have no incentive to actually make it good. The private charities, you have almost no money going to bureaucracy, and the money's going to doing the fucking job, specifically because if they spend all their money on bureaucracy, no one's going to give to that charity anymore, or no one's going to, buy into that mutual aid society or buy into that insurance company. Why would I, if I have like some charity and I'm like trying to help cancer kids or some shit like that, why would I donate to that charity if 70% of it's going to go to bureaucracy? And then there's another charity that says, hey, only 5% of this money goes to the bureaucracy, and the rest of it actually goes to cancer kids. Like, what the fuck?
is because the state is simply managing a lot more. But there's also the simple fact, which I hope you don't need me to tell you, that we can advocate for more efficient spending of government funds.
You can advocate for it, but why the fuck is the government actually going to do that? Right? First of all, economic calculation problem. They can't be more efficient. Second of all, they have no reason to be more efficient, because the less efficient they are, the bigger the government budget gets, and the more they can justify big government. Right? The worse the government does, the more the government can justify its expansion and increased taxation and whatnot. So, and again, like I said, there's no incentive for the bureaucrats to actually do well. If they do poorly, well, there's no fucking competition, so it doesn't matter, right? It literally doesn't matter at all. Isn't he a Marxist? I remember him making a video on that. I haven't seen that, but I wouldn't be surprised. He sounds like one. Yeah. All right. Oh yeah, listen, he literally asked for it. Government would definitely do it then. Yeah. If people just want the government to do this, clearly they're going to do it. Like, let's look at, how about every fucking war that's ever happened? How much do people like war? The government still goes into wars. Again, sometimes it's because the government cannot justify the wars to people. A lot of time it's because the government doesn't give a fuck. And people are still inundated with statist philosophy, so they think there's no alternative. But I mean, it's just like the government doesn't care what you have to think, dude. They don't care at all. How do we get more efficient spending? Just advocate for more efficient spending. Like, yeah, that is the most retarded shit I've ever heard in my entire life. Like, why would the government actually care what you have to say? Why? Oh, they'll get voted out. Like that. Wow, it's so scary of a disincentive for politicians that. Oh well, yeah, sure, you can still actually expropriate all the citizens, but then after 4 years, you're gonna get voted out. Like, wow, that's really scary for the politicians. That's just so scary. Like, no, all it's doing is it's incentivizing them to be even more high time preference and steal as much as they possibly can as fast as they can before they get voted out.
That's just the basic thing. If someone tells me, "Hey, did you know that the NHS is actually really inefficient?" I'm like, "Oh, that's awesome. We should." Well, that's awesome. Thanks for bringing that up. We should then look towards a government who's going to really investigate why the NHS is really inefficient and fix.
So yeah, again, and all of these government problems to this guy there's just government solutions to them. It's like, oh yeah, the government could just be efficient. It's like, no, economic calculation problem. The government literally cannot be efficient. It is literally impossible for the government to be efficient. They have to be inefficient. This was debunked like many, many decades ago. Excuse me. Many, many decades ago, this was debunked, and it's complete nonsense. If you're being a socialist and you're arguing for government control of everything, you have to argue on different frontiers, like the frontier of like inequality, like it's so unfair if people don't have this, or stuff like that. You can't argue that it's more efficient though. This is just complete nonsense. Like complete nonsense.
That. You would have to show that for some reason it's inevitable that this is a problem with it simply being a state-run organization, which I don't.
The economic calculation problem. We already did that! We specifically proved to you that it necessarily will be less efficient. We proved to you. And you're saying we have to show this? We fucking did, and you just shut your ears up. I mean, what the fuck, man? We proved this to you. That it necessarily must be less efficient. Like, oh my god. Like, do you think he's read a single book in his entire life? Or those books for decoration? They're probably for decoration. Like, Jesus Christ, we proved this shit to you. And he just didn't pay attention, I guess. That's not a very good argument, though. Argument add, I'm not paying attention to you. Like, argument add, I put, I put noise blockers on when you were talking. Great argument right Great argument right there. Like, we already proved this shit to you.
I don't see any evidence for whatsoever. Indeed, I think there's many reasons why we should.
I'm not even crashing out, Thanalingo. I'm like laughing. I'm just saying it really loudly. Like, this is amusing to me. Like, because this is just so like ridiculous. It's just just genuine actual nonsense. And I mean, I find it very funny. Like, this is, I mean, oh my god.
Recognize that state-run things are more efficient than privately run, and I mean,
no, they've never been more efficient. They can't be. You actually have to justify that. You can't just say, "Oh well, when one guy literally controls every aspect of the entire economy, somehow magically that's going to be more efficient." Like, how?
Certainly, this is not a
How?
charity point, but what's undeniable is that Americans spend significantly more money per capita on healthcare than Brits do for worse healthcare.
Okay, first, the healthcare is much better in America. I mean, that's just objectively not true what he said. And secondly, America is not it doesn't have private healthcare, right? The American taxpayer, like per capita, taxpayers in America pay pretty much the same amount that Britain people do. And like, so it's essentially just America has this massive state-backed healthcare, and then there's a bunch of intellectual property, and then there's like some amount of private sector that's being completely chokehold and strangled out by the socialism that's completely destroying it with fucking intellectual property and all of the government hospital grants and all of the regulations from before you can make a hospital. It's like the socialism's choking out the private sector. So yeah, America pays a shit ton for healthcare, but it's because it's socialist, right? We don't have private healthcare in America. We don't. So stop using America as the ideal of private healthcare. And Again, we have better healthcare than you because some of it's private. We have like it's a little bit private in America, and it's significantly better. Like cancer survival rates significantly better. People actually can get appointments on time. People actually get their own personal fucking doctor looking after them, like in a private like operating room. Yeah, this guy is argumentum ad assertion. This guy would be eaten alive in a debate. Literally everything he's saying is wrong. He's even making arguments, just assertions. We once watched a video where they claimed American healthcare was so bad because of Hayek's policies being. Yeah, I mean, where are Hayek's policies being enacted? All I see is intellectual property fucking monopoly grants and more fucking regulations of when you can build hospitals. Like Praxben, I didn't know this before, but Praxben elucidated to probably a lot of people that like if you want to build a hospital in America, you need a fucking like need grant from the state. Like you need to ask the state before you can build a fucking hospital, and you have to like. I mean, it's completely ridiculous. Like, of course, there won't be There's going to be too much There's going to be more demand than supply when people can't fucking satisfy the demand. And I mean, and again, like look at like the American like medical association and stuff like that. Like the amount of shit they do to like medical students, I mean, it's completely ridiculous. Just centrally planned essentially. There's like no private sector in a lot of the healthcare industry in America. It's completely nonsense. Um I won't ever forget walking into a private hospital for the first time and actually getting treated like I was a human by a healthcare worker for months. Exasperation. Did you live in a like a more like NHS kind of area, and then you like went into a private one, or yeah, because I mean I'm not surprised that that's the case, but yeah, I mean it's crazy. We also technically pay more for public health care per capita than you at a whopping 14K to the UK 16. Yeah, I mean exactly. We do. We pay a lot more for healthcare, but it's specifically because it's socialist. Um, all right.
Outcomes. So it's just, I mean, there you go. That's that, right? And then there's also the fact that, again, I don't know if I can even trust these statistics because based on the fact it comes from the advocates for self-governance,
I'm so sorry that libertarian institutions exist. I guess because it's libertarian, it's just completely wrong and you just can't trust it at all. Like, dude, just go fucking look outside. Like, and I live in the U.S. obviously, and in my state, the fucking roads they're always under construction. Why? Because the state takes a fucking $1 trillion for roads, and I know like the roads are like kind of privately done, but like it's like essentially just state backed because it's government grants, and it's like all of these government institutions and government buildings and government projects they take fucking forever. Meanwhile, to the extent you have the private sector, these problems are solved in like 1 second. Like look at like where building goes on the most, right? It's in big capitalist cities. Like when was there the most building in New York City? Well, specifically when it was the most capitalist. New York City literally sprung from the dust and turned into the one of the biggest cities in the entire planet from nothing in like less than like 100 years because of capitalism. Because capitalists can build so quickly and solve problems so quickly. But yeah, I mean, I can't trust it. Yeah, how about you go check it out, right? These people will scream laissez-faire while they are being crushed under the immense weight of regulatory central planning. Yeah, exactly. They don't even know what laissez-faire means. It's completely nonsense.
Pisces Institute and the Journal of Libertarian Studies. Yeah, none of that makes it seem remotely like these should actually be trusted as figures. Like,
yeah, and like as per this guy, I guarantee you, he would trust government fucking figures in 1 second. Like, he would absolutely trust government figures. Like, a little while ago, he was saying, like, oh, we should just advocate for the NHS being more efficient. Like, if the NHS went and told him that, oh, the NHS is really great and really good and it's awesome, he'd be like, oh, wow, thank you for elucidating this to me, NHS. You're so awesome and I always believe you. Right? So it's like, I guess when the libertarians make their positive case and provide some data, it's like, oh, those fucking libertarians, always nonsense. But then when the government, which is what the libertarians are arguing is fucking inefficient and horrible, gives their data. It's like, oh, thank you, Mr. Government. You've proved all these facts to me. Thank you for my daily mandated state factual content. It's like, dude, come on.
that's just like a complete bullshit statistic. The fact that government, just in general, 70-30 split between providing a service versus bureaucracy.
Prove it's bullshit. It sounds really fucking realistic to me. I mean, dude, this is just a fact. Like, I bet Google will tell this to me. Like, I wonder, does the government Yes, the government typically spends more than private companies on the exact same goods and services. This is largely driven by vivid procurement regulations, complex compliance demands, and a lack of profit-driven incentives that compel private firms to keep costs low. Google tells me this. Fucking Google, bro. Google isn't even like libertarian. Google like just takes the most standard normie opinion ever, and even fucking Google will tell me this. Like the government doesn't even deny that they're less efficient. And this is like what I said, like socialists have known that socialism it can not compete with capitalism in the slightest for years upon years. That's why they fucking argue on different battlegrounds, right? Socialists argue about like inequality and like surplus labor value, not efficiency, because they know that they've been beat on efficiency. They can't beat us on efficiency and actually running a good economy, so they have to appeal to like, oh well, we need more, we need less inequality and shit like that, right? Also, what's up, Kokirkto? I'm not actually sure exactly how you even say your name, but yeah, how's it going? It's completely just ridiculousness. Like even fucking Google agrees with us. And I know like appeal to Google isn't the best argument because it's like but like he's specifically arguing that like our statistics aren't good. So here are some pretty fucking trustworthy statistics. It's Google. Even like Forbes, economic nonsense, government spends more, Adam Smith, like just everyone will tell you this. Like it's just a fact. Like it's just a fucking fact.
See, so much of how this is being defined needs to be understood. Maybe you shouldn't have waited. I mean, to be fair, it's easier for me. It makes my job easier responding to you because I can just point out you haven't actually said anything. Maybe you shouldn't have left yourself.
He just said a whole lot of stuff, and you just dismissed him because apparently you can't trust any sources that come from a libertarian for whatever fucking reason.
3 minutes at the end of the video to make 3 arguments, of which one of them isn't even an argument at all. And the second is you providing a very vague statistic that's completely meaningless without an explanation of its actual substance.
I mean, I'm pretty sure Mendes Wave gives an explanation in the video. Like his 3 points were taxation's theft, governments are less efficient, and incentives. And the incentives and the government is less efficient go right together, right? So it's like the incentives probably is the explanation. So wow, King Critical, when I completely ignore the argument that someone makes, I can defeat it. It's like wow. And again, he's arguing against strawmans and he doesn't even do it well. Like this guy needs to go back to the drawing board and learn how to think and make arguments because he hasn't actually made a single argument in any of the videos we've reacted to, which is ironic. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Every day, Mises gets more and more vindicated. He might not have been a minarchist. He might have been a minarchist, but he gets a pass for being so right on so many things. Yeah, I mean, fundamentally, you can't expect someone like Mises to just completely develop ANCAP all on his own. It takes a collaboration between great minds, and yeah, that's what happens. And Mises is great, right? He's a step towards developing anarcho-capitalism. Yeah, king assertions.
And just as the statistic is presented, it literally amounts to nothing more than the advocates for self-governance at the Mises Institute said that have contrived statistics.
Okay, well, fucking Google says it too, and like every single article on the same Google page, like fucking Google says it. And I didn't even ask a loaded question. I asked like, is government more or less efficient than private companies? Hoppe pointed out that there's a major shift in government spending. Under monarchy, most of the money doesn't get wasted on bureaucracy. Yeah, I definitely think that's true. So yeah, exactly what Hoppe pointed out.
To conclude that 70% of government services are going to what they think is unnecessary.
And not to mention the biggest problem with state public assistance of all. Many of them come with strict income ceilings, where if you make more than the limit, you suddenly become ineligible.
I mean, I'm not exactly sure what Mentis is trying to establish here, but we'll see what King Critical says.
I just can't take libertarians seriously. Like, I just cannot. Do you understand that there are many people who have problems with this? There are many people who make arguments against this stuff. Those people don't support getting rid of the entire government. Like, that's the thing. It just makes no...
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he's really taking Mentis Wave's argument, like, where he's... Like, Mentis Wave probably wasn't saying, like, oh, we should abolish the limits on, people's, when they can receive welfare, so that people can receive more welfare. Like, he was probably making a very specific point with that. And then this guy he's probably leaving it out,
sense to me at all. I cannot...
Like, Mentis Wave, Mentis probably means that you have an incentive to stay poor because we'll lose social security. I mean, yeah, in another video he made, he talks about, like, what's it called? How all these incentives work when you have, like, essentially a cap on, like, when you can receive welfare. And he says it would be better if it was like a diminishing return system where it's like, a flat thing instead of like there's just these big curves that are incentivizing people to make less money.
Not get my brain around the fact that these people, like, again, the problem is libertarians act as if there is one ideology they're arguing against called statism.
Well, I mean, statists kind of all end up making the same arguments. It's pretty fucking clear. Like when you really press statists down, like they all believe in the same stuff, just to various levels of consistency. Like a standard Republican and a Democrat pretty much have the same premises, and you can find out they have the same premises if you push them down on it. But they're just they apply them to various levels of consistency.
And that every single person who supports the state supports every single possible configuration of the state, as if there aren't like elections where certain people who think the government should be one way directly argue against those who think the government should be.
Yeah, elections just work so well. Like it's just worked so well that we've had democracy for the past fucking like 250 years in the US and probably like longer in Britain. And excuse me, it's just working so well. Like it's just doing so well. These elections are just so meaningfully changing the status quo. Like when one candidate gets elected from another one, like the status quo just completely changes. Like and we get a whole new set. Like, dude, come on, you're living in a fantasy world. No president or minister or whatever ever does anything different. It's always the exact same status quo bullshit. Like, come on.
Be another way. You're not demonstrating anything. You're literally just showing, like, that's the problem. This video could literally be called, "Hey, this is why state funding would be great," and it just says, as an aside, these are the problems we need to solve. So let's solve these problems. Like that's the thing. This could actually be part of a video for advocating for more state funding, because you can say, "Hey, these are the basic problems. Let's just fix those."
Well, I'm pretty sure he like just skipped out on Mentis Wave's argument here. Like he didn't give Mentis Wave a chance to explain why these like income ceilings are bad, right? So I mean, I don't know. Like again, I'm not Mentis Wave, so I'm not gonna really defend him here. I don't know exactly what he said, so I'm just gonna let this play. But it seems like he's probably cutting something out here, like from what I can tell. Um, that's a lie. A lot of libertarians know the history of philosophy. Not our fault that the essence can't be broken down to the same false premises. I'm not exactly sure what you're responding to, but yeah, I mean,
And yeah, then everything will be fine.
It sounds crazy, but unfortunately this is an actual thing that happens. It is a
yeah, more fun. Yeah, I guess just Mentis Wave is he's just really a statist who wants more funding. Not to mention that Mentis Wave specifically stated that it's the state being unethical that's the problem. Yeah, I mean he said like taxation's theft, right? Like, and you have to argue that theft is justified if you want to debunk Mentis Wave. You can't just say like, oh, but it makes me feel really good when people are equal. Democracy, the god that always works and is super efficient and ethical every time. Yeah, nothing has ever happened under democracy. World War One, Two, Vietnam War, Korean War, Afghanistan War. Just what were those? That clearly wasn't democracy's fault. I mean, clearly.
skirt
He literally cut him out. Yeah, maybe he'll let Mentis Wave make his case right here, but we'll probably not.
known as the welfare trap, a documented and well
Oh yeah, here he goes. It's the welfare trap. So, I was responding to his claim that libertarians act as the only. Oh yeah, I mean certainly, yeah. Um,
proven economic issue where there is a financial pitfall in the amount you would have to earn the same on welfare and your gross income.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone knows about this, and there are many people who have criticized it and spoken about ways to kind of get around it.
Okay, but I don't know if he brings it up in this video, but Mentis Wave's specific argument here is that first of all, it's incentivizing people to be poor, and second of all, the reason that fucking everybody recognizes that this happens and nothing ever changes is because the politicians specifically have an incentive to keep people poor and be dependents. Like they specifically have an incentive to make their welfare system not work because if they have a bunch of dependents that will always vote for more welfare, then they can guarantee a certain amount of votes, right? So that's what's going on here. And Mentis Wave's argument is presumably that that's very bad that they're creating all these dependents. Everyone knows about this. So what the fuck are people doing? Yeah, exactly. The bloodiest wars of all time, definitely not caused by democracy. It's a perfect system with no flaws, and if you disagree, you're apostate fascist. I don't know how to even say that word. Apostate fascist. I mean, there's I'm not exactly sure what Face's name was saying. Like Mantis Wave continues with, it sounds ridiculous, but that's the real problem. There's clearly something cut out. Yeah, I think he definitely did cut something out. Yeah.
And by the way, I'm pretty sure at this point a lot of countries have come up with certain ways of getting around this.
Yeah, but Mantis Wave is saying, and I don't know if he says it here, but Mantis Wave's claim in general is that this is incentivizing dependence, which the state wants. And so the politicians have an incentive to keep this here and purposely make their system bad. Right? So that's what he's saying.
The state's incentive lies not with mutual success, but with them, of course, staying in power. And
Yeah, exactly. So he does say it here, and he's just
the
ignoring
more
this.
people they can make dependent on the state, the more
Exactly. He's saying exactly what I said. So Mantis Wave does make this claim about dependence, which is certainly true.
support they can grift in order to retain that power.
That's simply not true, because in reality,
Okay, so it's just not true.
people, there's not very much evidence that those who rely on state services are less likely to, or rather more likely to support the state.
There's just not any evidence. Where are the fucking welfare dependents who vote for less welfare? Please show me the welfare dependents who vote for less welfare. Like, seriously, you won't be able to find them. They all vote for more welfare because it's in their incentive to vote for more welfare. Right? I mean, this is just completely ridiculous. Possibly a person who renounces a religious... Oh, fair enough. Yeah, that's just not true. It's like, there's just not evidence for this. Like, well, I gave you the entire incentive, argument of evidence. Like, yeah, there's a large incentive for these people to want more state. And, like, second of all, like, when the state goes, wriggles its way into these industries, like, welfare and, private healthcare, public healthcare and education, what it's trying to do is it's trying to take away people's freedom, such that they need the state. Because if we did take away all this welfare system, it would be pretty fucking catastrophic for all of the people who are on welfare. Now, our argument is that, like, good, right? Like, they shouldn't be receiving this welfare, so I don't really care. But it nonetheless would be like the worst day ever if we removed this state for all the people who are receiving welfare. Right? Like, they need the state. They need it there. So they will never vote against the state. Like, again, find me the welfare dependent who votes for less welfare. There's no evidence people vote for what it is in their best interest. Yeah, I mean, exactly. It's true because it just is the philosophy. What's up, Mr. Babra? How's it going? African Americans began to vote for more welfare when things like stimulus checks and SNAP were introduced. Thus, their voting demographics. Yeah, I mean, exactly. Like, black people who are on welfare predominantly vote for very, like, Democrat ran things. And it's not like the conservatives are much better, but the Democrats are a little bit more, like, openly in favor of big welfare state. And it's like, it's pretty obvious that's who they're supporting, right? Like, it's just ridiculous.
Indeed, actually, old people tend to vote against the state.
Old people vote against the state, yeah, because most old people aren't completely dependent on the state. Like, they get Social Security, but a lot of them also have retirement savings, they have a home. Like, let's look at the actual fucking welfare dependents. Like, come on. And again, the old people don't vote against the state, really. They just vote for a different bureaucratic structure. Like, are these old people, like, are they ANCAPs? Like, no, they're just saying, like, oh, I want Ronald Reagan back again. Not because they actually don't like the state, not because most of them probably aren't actually dependents, but just because they have, like, good feelings from, like, back in the 80s or whatever. Like, look at old people's votes. Do they ever vote against Social Security? Like, fuck no. They never actually vote against Social Security. Maybe they'll vote for, like, more military spending and less, like, DEI or something. Because they don't benefit from the DEI. And I mean, I don't think they benefit from the military spending either, but that's a whole other thing. It's like, but they certainly do vote for more Social Security. The Republicans are the party that says government doesn't work, and then they get elected and prove it. Yeah. Democrats are the party that says the government will make you smarter, taller, richer, and move the crabgrass in your lawn. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
They get a huge amount of public services.
Anyways, that's all for now.
All right, so there we go. Yeah, waste of my time.
Yeah, waste of your time. So much of a waste of your time that you weren't able to meaningfully interact with any of Mentis Wave's arguments. You just pretty much made a bunch of, king of assertions. You just asserted a bunch of random crap that was just pretty much nonsense that we can just dismiss on its face. So yeah, I mean, just such a waste of your time, and you just did such a good job refuting it.
Didn't really achieve anything there, and I don't know. People, I had more than a few comments saying, like, oh, respond to this video. And overall, it was just a complete nothing burger. It was genuinely just a waste of my finite life on this planet. So thanks for that, guys. Yeah, no real argument to speak of whatsoever.
No arguments to speak of. I just watched 21 minutes of your video, and you didn't make a single fucking argument. Like, you didn't make a single fucking argument at all. Mentis Wave actually did make an argument. He made an argument that, an incentives-based argument about state dependence, and a lot of it was just a historical video, right? A lot of the video was just like, oh, this happened, and it could happen again. Like, this can happen on the free market, right? So it's like, you didn't make any arguments. Yeah, he played at most 2 minutes of Mentis's video, probably not even. He definitely cut Mentis Wave off a couple times. It's like, come on, man.
Basically just just
He's describing himself so well, yeah. This guy is dumber than the average breadtuber he refutes on trans ideology. At least the breadtubers try to make arguments. Yeah, the breadtubers just make bad arguments. Apparently, this guy can only say anything kind of relevant on trans stuff. Yeah.
it's not like literally an argument I already have made fun of at length. That the advocates for self-government say that it's not good. Okay, good argument. There's
No, he made an incentives-based argument about why the government necessarily will do bad because it has all these incentives against it. Economic calculation problem. I guess that's our argument. Metis Wave didn't bring it up. Yeah, I mean, come on, dude. You're just dismissing it.
There's some problems which, by the way, we could easily imagine a government fixing, but no, actually,
we could easily imagine a government fixing, like, for example, oh no, he's talking about I was gonna say, like when he said, like, oh yeah, just advocate for the NHS to be more efficient. Like, yeah, I'm sure that's totally a good solution. Like, advocate for the NHS to solve the ECP. Like, advocate, oh, NHS, you're so great, you can find the weight of a unicorn, right? Like, come on, this is just complete nonsense.
the government's not going to fix it because the government. But yeah, the government, they want to stay in power, but they're therefore disincentivized to improve things for the population as a whole.
Yeah, the worse the government does, the more money they get, right? The more enslaved the citizens are, the more money the government can take from them, right? The more the citizens accept a philosophy of being enslaved, the better the government can do, right? The government, and again, ECP, the government can't improve things even if they wanted to, but they have tons of incentives to actually make things worse, to actually create dependence. So yeah, you didn't interact with any of that.
Is that what you're going for? The government wants to empower, so
Yeah, I can imagine the government trying fixing everything. That doesn't mean it's going to happen.
they're disincentivized to improve things for the population.
Again, I don't think the government can fix everything. I could imagine the government trying to fix everything, and it wouldn't even be able to. But I don't even know why they would try to fix everything, right? It's against their incentive.
As a whole. Meanwhile, therefore, what we need is to entirely rely on these fraternal organizations and their.
Hello, Zafari. He can use logic on trans stuff because it's really dumb on its face, but becomes an absolute moron on literally anything else. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
For the arbitrary whims of whether or not a very select random group of people are going to.
Yeah, so apparently us libertarians are just working off of our arbitrary whims. Like, dude, you are clearly working off your arbitrary whims. Like, he's such a pragmatist. He's like, oh yeah, the true is what works. Like, oh, the government just works. It's like, dude, come on. Like, we're really doing this?
Decide that you're worthy of not dying in the streets. Cool. Yeah, I know. I looked through the all the Mentis Waves. None of his videos actually seem worth responding to because they all seem to be operating on the assumption libertarianism is correct. And
no, come on, dude. Stop strawmanning Mentis Wave. Like, let's go to his channel, dude. Like, you're just completely strawmanning him. Like, a lot of his recent videos, they're not really talking about even libertarianism, but like when you go back a little bit, like let's like evading criticism with harassment, like that's another Coconut Islands. Like these are actually he's talking about stuff like taxation's theft, right? Like he's making arguments. He doesn't presuppose that libertarianism is correct. He's making arguments for why libertarianism is correct, right? So it's like, what are we doing?
never actually making any arguments for why
he does. You're not watching his videos,
as evidenced by this video where he didn't really make a single.
Yeah, you really proved that in this video.
Actual argument.
All right. I think I have a little more time. I don't think I'm going to be able to watch the my problem with libertarian response videos because it's just too much time for what I have right now, and I think it's probably better if if Weston Smith or Project NCAP, if those guys, if they want to react to this, because it's specifically like, it's quoting them out of context, right? And I didn't watch their original reaction, so I wouldn't. I'm sure I completely believe that he did that, but I don't think it's very useful for me to react to that because I'm not really involved in that that specific conflict. But I'll react to this 10-minute video pretty quickly. After I use the bathroom, because I mean, maybe he'll make some claims about ANCAP. So I'll be right back. But yeah. All right, hello. I have returned. All right, what happened here in chat? Do the based if true. Be fair, sometimes since Mentis Wave made a video on libertarian theory. Yeah, I mean, has he? When was the last time Mentis Wave did that? Let's see. Communists. Universities still drowning in woke ideology. I mean, a lot of them kind of have like some like I think what he does is he just like as per this video, he looks at the culture war and then kind of looks at it from like a libertarian stance. So they all have like some amount of libertarianism in them. It's more just like he integrates it with the video. Um, you should watch it because it's just sad. You'll see what I mean. I'm sure it is very sad. I just unfortunately I don't have enough time right now to go through all of that. Because that's about 30 minutes, and that would probably take me or take us another like hour or two. So I don't think I have time to go through that one, but yeah, I mean it is. I'm sure it does suck. Um. All right. Yeah. I'll get into this cringe and untrue video.
Hello, everyone. Water.
I actually haven't watched Based If True's ANCAP video, so maybe it's not good that I'm reacting to this without having watched the video that he's responding to. But as far as I could tell, I saw like the thumbnail of it, and he was pretty much just like saying, "I'm an ANCAP now" or something like that. I don't know. Maybe he made ANCAP arguments. I actually don't know.
It's what the lions drink. Hello, everybody. I'm wearing my headphones today, which means that obviously we must be responding to
You're always interested in economic suggestions from a libertarian standpoint, really in-depth stuff on nuclear and certain regulatory codes. Um, I'm not exactly sure if you're responding to something or asking something, but yeah, I mean, most of this kind of stuff from like a libertarian perspective is like, yeah, there shouldn't be regulations, but that doesn't essentially mean that doesn't mean that everything's going to be complete chaos, you know?
video. So I saw this video. I mean, I've got to respond to it. There's a channel called Based If True. The main thing you should know about this channel is I have a habit of calling him Based Is True. The other thing you should know about this channel is one time he persistently bothered me about doing a collab, and then I eventually was like, yeah, sure. And since then, he's abandoned the idea. He got scared by me, presumably.
Yeah, you're just such a scary guy. You're just so terrifying. Let's see Based If True. I'm not exactly sure what this guy's doing, but yeah, I mean, he's almost at 100,000 subscribers, so that's cool. Um, let's see. Yeah, we have how a dwarf destroyed two homosexual socialists in a debate. I mean, very cool. Why I became an ANCAP. Maybe should you know what? Maybe we should watch this video first. I don't think I'll have much to respond to on this video, but maybe we should just watch this since it'll only take us on like 1.25, like 4 minutes or something. I'm just gonna.
Hello, Internet! So today, before my bigger video comes out, we are going to discuss why I became anarcho-capitalist, and I'll be describing.
Yeah, like Zafari said, he's pretty new to ANCAP, so if he gets things wrong, he'll say something. But if he's just saying, you know, essentially regular stuff, then I won't even say anything.
What exactly that means, because there's an infinite amount of misconceptions as to what that is, so we'll be clearing all that up in this video, and why I ultimately decided to adopt this philosophical and political framework. But anyway, if you don't know what anarcho-capitalism is, very simply put, it's the logical conclusion of free market capitalism and Austrian economic theory.
I mean, it's the NAP, but I mean, the two imply each other, so I'll give him a pass on this one.
This is much less relevant for this video, but my philosophical position, if any of you are wondering, is derived from objectivism and, of course, the non-aggression principle.
Well, there you go. So, based if true, is now, he seems like he's an objectivist. Now, has he read OPAR or not? I don't know, but that's very cool, because he almost has 100,000 subscribers, and, apparently he's an objectivist, and so he's an anarcho-objectivist, essentially a Zuluite, which is great. So I mean, I didn't even know that. This seems like he's going to be a very good ally to the movement. Tax Brass literally founded the Zuluwaffen along with the Zulu. It's a legal theory, not beginning. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't begin from economics, but yeah, it seems like he understands that it is the non-aggression principle.
Now, let's break down what anarcho-capitalist means. The second part should be obvious, but the first part is what tends to scare people away.
I'm just going to put this on 1.5. Oh, it was normal. I thought it was really slow.
Because we've been fed so much statist propaganda that anarchy is basically the boogeyman to a lot of people. They usually think of movies like Mad Max, where it's just a lawless society, or think of the incredibly homosexual and very contradictory variant called anarcho-communism.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much.
In fact, ANCAPs are extremely interested in legal theory and government.
Yeah, I do hope he converts a lot of people. He has a potential to. I really hope, because it seems like he's a big YouTuber. He's going to be able to get people like Liquid Zulu, Taxed Brass, and hopefully just smaller people as well that like know the theory to like really get him to like understand the arguments to be making, right? Because a problem with some like ANCAP channels is, they don't know really the arguments to be making, but like he's literally endorsing Liquid Zulu right here. So I hope he goes and reads through all of this, and I hope like he has enough influence to be talking to the people who like know the arguments that he's supposed to be making. That's very good.
Governance, because our goal is to maximize freedom and provide a system that entirely relies on consensual governance. We actually spend the most time thinking about this, as it's the most pertinent thing to analyze in order to be recognized as a legitimate political system. So instead of this large sovereign state authority saying, you follow our rules or go to the forever box, we just insist on decentralization and maximizing private ownership for capable individuals. We are absolutely not trying to turn America or any other country into Somalia, so I just want to get that out of the way first. The second
Yeah, I mean, pretty much.
part of being an anarcho-capitalist is, of course, capitalist. Most of you probably already know what capitalism is, but the key here is recognizing that capitalism actually goes hand in hand with anarchism. It's the logical conclusion to being a capitalist, in fact, because if you're abiding by the principles
Ale Econ, yeah, or Ale Anarcho or something like that, yeah.
of voluntary exchange, free markets, private property, etc., there wouldn't be the necessity for a state to have involuntary taxation. So if you're wondering how roads or defense or court systems would work, the extremely short answer, and very oversimplified answer, is privatization. But this video isn't going to be covering any of the legal theory in any detail, although I know a lot of you are probably now very interested in what those are, as
Yeah, good. I hope this video is turning people into, wanting to learn more.
we can discuss a million different hypotheticals, but do not worry at all. Those videos are coming. I'll probably be doing one of those educational videos in like a short 5 to 10 minutes, and then
Good. So it seems like Based If True wants to start educating people about ANCAP. Now all I can say is I hope he makes the correct arguments, but like I said earlier, it seems like, he's under the influence of people like Liquid Zulu and Tax Brass and, good principled ANCAPs. So hopefully that means he'll be making the correct arguments and going in and converting people. This is I'm very excited for this. I mean, and I think this is very good stuff.
And my usual Reddit content, so I satisfy all audiences. So even if you don't subscribe to my political system or whatever, which is fine, you can still enjoy the entertainment of dunking on the Redditors, because that will never get old. But the overall point I'm trying to make
Yeah, absolute Liberty Twitter victory. Does anyone know how this conversion happened? As far as I can tell, he was always some sort of like socialist, because I saw like some of this guy's videos come up on my For You page and whatnot. I don't know if I watched maybe like one of them or something, like a while ago, like before he was like an ANCAP apparently. And yeah, I mean, I just I kind of got the takeaway that he was like generally in favor of capitalism, but not like a full anarchist. Um, so like I'm not sure. Like yeah, he was a minarchist. Yeah, so yeah, I mean, I'm not exactly sure, but does anyone know how this transition happened?
here is that I used to be a minarchist, which is basically just a step above being fully anarcho-capitalist relative to recognizing the state as a legitimate institution. Basically, I thought that taxation, although it was theft, was necessary to fund two state apparatuses, those being the military and the border. Other than the fact that you basically have to overdose on copium, as there isn't any logical or philosophical congruency to those beliefs, I don't particularly blame myself entirely either for having them.
He was a liberal-leaning capitalist guy before. Yeah, probably. He had a Lulbert friend and became yeah, okay, so he became friends with Tax Brass. That's good. I do like what Tax Brass is doing in terms of I'm not I like him. I think he's definitely an asset to the movement. Um, but I like what he's doing in terms of like reaching out to people. Like Tax Brass and Liquid Zulu collab, like that was really unexpected. I was like, wow, that was like wow, what the fuck? And so I think Tax Brass is good at like reaching out to people and be like, dude, hey, you want to collab? And I think that's good. Like, get more people into this sphere, even if they aren't necessarily agreeing with us.
Only the unemployed have enough time to deep dive
Or like get more people into the sphere and convert them, even if they aren't immediately in the meantime agreeing with us.
into a relatively niche political and philosophical system and randomly make a video about it on, what is it, a Wednesday? Oh, never mind, it's Thursday. Sorry, I was supposed to upload this yesterday, but, I had some family stuff happen. But if you watch any of my past content, I'm not gonna lie, I'm a bit embarrassed by some of it. Even recently, regrettably, I wish I could have been more clear with some of the things I said in my Gabriel video, because I really do want to represent my ideology properly and make it clear what I believe and provide the best arguments. Because I'll admit, I'm still new and ignorant to a lot of the in-depth philosophy of anarcho-capitalism, and I tend to fall back on comparative arguments for systems instead of fully articulating what I believe to be the best system, simply because I just didn't have a satisfactory answer. And that may work fine in response videos on Reddit.
Tax Brass is good for the movement. He's entertaining enough for the normies and get ANCAP in their attention. Yeah, I mean, pretty much. I don't think he really makes any like super philosophical or revolutionary videos, but I think they're good, and they're good at what they do. So it's yeah.
To what I believe are low effort arguments, but it's just far better and more productive to take time to prepare the best arguments, which I'll be doing from now on. Gradualism is pretty gay, if you know what that is, and I'm very sorry, I must atone for my sins. But now that I am taking the time to research and study all these things, I really want to debate socialists and communists, or whoever really, so I can demonstrate exactly why I believe I am right, and I think it would be very entertaining, and I think you guys would love it, because you seem to love when I and Tax Brass debated that one guy on Reddit, the communist.
So they debated a guy on Reddit. I wasn't aware of that. So they debated a socialist guy together. Does anyone know about that? Interesting.
This guy. But yeah, if you ever catch me making a poor argument or I don't elaborate well enough, please let me know. I want to be one of the powerhouses for the movement and ultimately show people how we can achieve the most prosperous society. But anyway, guys, that's more or less my very brief explanation for why I changed my position. And although not much has changed.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I mean, this is all great stuff. I mean, you gotta look at it. We have like Mentis Wave, Text Brass. Now we have Liquid Zulu. Obviously, we have Based If True. I mean, we have a lot of relatively sizable channels that are actually promoting the philosophy. I don't think you would have seen this. Maybe I don't know, like a couple years ago. I don't know if you would have seen this. So I think it is the movement's growing, and I think this is really encouraging. Um, Not gonna lie, his Zulu collab crash is so fucking much. I'm not sure what you mean by that. Um, yeah, we have Anarcho Econ too. Yeah, everyone must subscribe to Anarcho Econ. Um, Anarcho-econ dictatorship. Yeah, where does anyone know where MRH Legacy went? Like, obviously, I mean, MRH Legacy was really great. I'm not sure what happened to him though. That was I mean, maybe life just got in the way, like, I mean, he made a lot of really in-depth videos that seemed like, as far as I can tell, they would really take a lot of time. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know what happened to MRH Legacy, but maybe life got in the way or something like that. It's unfortunate he's not making videos anymore, but yeah.
Broadly speaking, I will provide much more high-quality educational content on these topics.
Oh, he said MHR. Maybe I was talking about something else. I just read that wrong. Or maybe it's MHR. I completely forget. Yeah, he's still on Twitter, yeah. I don't really know exactly what he's doing.
And just much more sound and rational arguments in general from now on. So we can dunk on the Redditors even harder because we all know they're just all a bunch of gay commies. But anyway, guys, please like, comment, and subscribe. I hope you enjoyed this short video.
He got taken out by Mossad. Well, thank you for elucidating this. Okay, so now we know what he has to say here. So let's go back into this video. The trans started it by calling Zulu a prag and claiming that Brass was a LARPer because he was the military. I'm not exactly sure what you guys are going into. Okay, whatever. Alright. Oh, okay, it is MRH, okay. Yeah. Alright, we're gonna check this video out now, though, now that we kind of know, what he has to say.
So now I'm going to dunk on him, I guess. Basically, there's this video. It's a 6-minute, 17-second video called "Why I Became Anarcho-Capitalist."
I mean, I don't even really know what there is to react to with this video. It's like he's just saying I'm an ANCAP now. He's not presenting the positive case for anarcho-capitalism, you know?
I'm not even going to talk about that thumbnail, whatever. The main thing that I'm interested in is, I mean, honestly, actually, I haven't looked at any of his recent videos. He stopped like talking about Reddit all the time. That's interesting. So basically, it's a video called "Why I Became Anarcho-Capitalist." Now, obviously, I've been on a bit of an anti-anarcho-capitalist thing.
Yeah, and you've done so well. You've done so well that you considered, like, he looked at one argument we made in essentially both videos. Like, he responded to one argument that wasn't a fundamental argument of our philosophy, and he strawmanned that argument, and he didn't defeat that argument. So yeah. Yeah, the thumbnail is pretty. I like that thumbnail. I don't know what he's talking about.
Recently. So I thought, why not just respond to this very short video and just see what's said. Now, I will say this going into it, based on the fact it's 6 minutes and 17 seconds, I'm considering the possibility that this might.
Yeah, what's the thumbnail? Let's see this thumbnail again. I think I liked it. Yeah, dude, this is fucking gas, dude. I mean, like, come on, man. Or like this, bro. How a dwarf destroyed two homosexual socialists in a debate. I mean, that's freaking gas, man. I'm kind of. Has anyone watched this dwarf video? I'm not sure. I'm wondering if it's worth it to watch the dwarf video. You have it's good. All right, maybe I'll check it out in my free time. I'm not gonna react it to anything. Yeah, like Kokirkto said, I mean, I would appreciate it if you guys don't really go into the whole Alice Decay and Liquid Zulu stuff in this chat room. It's I mean, probably none of us really care. Both of them were being a little retarded, and they worked it out on Discord. There's not a beef really anymore, so who cares? Oh, it's just a summary of one of Zulu's debates. Oh yeah, I remember watching that debate. Okay. Um, alright, whatever.
This might be one of those videos. Oh, hello. This might be one of these videos where there is one singular argument made. And ultimately, I'm just going to kind of watch the whole video, get to the end of the video, and be like, okay, well, this is the basic argument, rather than it being a case of multiple arguments made. Because obviously, again, it's only a 6-minute, 17-second video. So whatever. We're going to jump in, and I'm just going to pause as and when I feel like there's something to say. I should say, by the way, I'm going into this video completely blind.
Yeah, it's a dead controversy. It doesn't matter. Yeah, I find it a little bit funny, but again, it doesn't matter or anything. This happened a while ago, anyways.
And I'm just interested in, basically what he has to say, because, yeah,
yeah, I mean, I think, Kokirkto, Tax Brass probably is a little immature, and that comes from his like kind of like chuddiness and stuff. But if we're talking about whether or not he's a an ally to the movement, like he definitely is an ally to the movement. But yeah, I mean he shouldn't have done that, but it's not that big of a deal in my opinion.
Okay, say a channel that is certainly has been a regular viewer. You know, like he's frequently been in my comment section. He will probably see this video when it comes out. I'd be surprised if he doesn't. I'd be surprised if this video passes him by.
Let's see if he's in the comment section. I've seen this guy, Remnant, making like videos about very like milquetoast conservative shit, but I'm kind of wondering. I wonder if this guy would like could be converted into anarcho-capitalism. I don't know. I mean, he's kind of a little too standard conservative, but he seems like maybe we could convert him. I don't know. And then maybe someone's tried that yet. I don't know. Anyways.
Hello, everyone. Water.
Oh shit.
I'd be surprised if he doesn't. I'd be surprised if this video passes him by. But yeah, obviously talking about anarcho-capitalism. I am very much not an anarcho-capitalist, so let's see.
But anyway, if you don't know what anarcho-capitalism is, very simply put, it's...
Oh, I guess we shouldn't have watched the video beforehand. But I guess we already got my reaction to this video. So whatever. We'll continue on. I didn't realize he was going to watch this video in his response.
the logical conclusion of free market capitalism and Austrian economic theory.
Okay, logical conclusion of free market.
You think we should let people come to us, not the other way around? I mean, I don't know. It seems like with based if true, it kind of sounds like you know, we kind of got him to come to us. I'm not exactly sure though. Remnant said to tax brass the NAP shouldn't always be followed. Yeah, I mean that's gonna come from his like very basic conservatism. I'm just wondering if maybe we could convince him on that, but I don't know. I mean, maybe it's worthwhile. I've watched like one of his videos or something like that, so I don't know. Maybe he's completely gone.
Capitalism. I will say this right away. I'm like, no, it's not, because
Oh, sorry, I wasn't paying attention to this guy.
Of free market capitalism. Don't know.
But yeah, obviously talking about anarcho-capitalism. I am very much not an anarcho-capitalist, so let's see.
But anyway, if you don't know what anarcho-capitalism is, very simply put, it's the logical conclusion of free market capitalism and Austrian economic theory.
Okay, logical conclusion of free market capitalism. I will say this right away. I'm like, no, it's not, because
How is it not? How is a stateless society not the conclusion of Austrian economics? I mean, Austrian economics pretty clearly rejects the state. Pretty clearly says the private sector can provide any service. So yeah. I mean, come on. All right.
capitalism requires having a state to.
Why does capitalism require a state? You actually have to justify that. Like, this is just a socialist talking point. Like, oh, capitalism requires a state. It's like, why? Again, capitalism is just respecting people's private property rights. So why is it metaphysically impossible for people to respect each other's private property rights, and not have a state? Like, it's like there's like a state and people are respecting each other's property rights, regardless. And then the state is like, you know what? I'm actually going to dissolve myself. And then the whole fucking world implodes because two people can't be respecting each other's property rights without a state. I mean, this is just completely ridiculous.
Defend property, but whatever, we'll see.
Like, why can't individuals defend property? Why does it need to be collectivized? Like, the inverse is true. Capitalism is the logical conclusion or corollary of the NAP. I mean, absolutely. But, I mean, anarcho-capitalism is the conclusion of the capitalism. I mean, is the conclusion of, Austrian economics. So it's just like, the capitalism implies the anarchy implies the capitalism. Like, they both conclude in each other because it's essentially making the same statement from different points of view. It's because of the Hobbesian lie of the state of man. Yeah, probably. It's like, oh, just so naturally brutish that people just can't respect each other's property rights. So we just need a dictatorship.
In fact, ANCAPs are extremely interested in legal theory and governance because
is he going to reject this claim? I mean, is this apparently not true to King Critical?
Our goal is to maximize freedom and provide a system that entirely relies on consensual governance. We actually spend the most time thinking about this as it's the most pertinent thing to analyze in order to be recognized as a legitimate political system.
By the way, I will say this right away. It's like, like meme of like anarcho-cops, anarcho-executioner, blah, blah, blah. To be honest, anarcho-capitalists, like what they should call themselves, and this is the thing they do call themselves, is voluntarists.
Well, no, I don't like the term voluntarist because voluntarist doesn't tell you anything, right? It's like, oh, every transaction should be voluntary. Then like a Marxist will come in and say like, oh, well, if there's a hierarchy, the transaction can't be truly voluntary. It's like, or like, oh, transactions aren't between individuals; it's actually between collectives, and that's what we should really analyze. It's like voluntarist doesn't actually tell you what the position is. It doesn't, because everyone has a different fucking conception of consent, right? Like, come on, dude. Um, ANCAP doesn't work because people are evil. That's why we need a government made by people that will somehow be good. Yeah, exactly. Um, why are all the people in this chat based? I guess I just have a very based based viewer base. Yeah, I mean, come on. Yeah, we're ANCAPs or libertarians. Like, I'm not a fucking voluntarist. Voluntarist, whatever you want to say.
I think that's the term. And that makes more sense because
No.
essentially their position isn't
Hello. Excuse me. All right.
anarchism. They still believe in a state. They just believe the state should be engaged with on a voluntary basis. That's basically their stance. They ultimately think that you should have policemen and courts and all the things. They even a lot of the time believe in like executions and things like that.
Anarcho cops, anarcho judge, anarcho exec. Yeah, pretty much. I do like voluntarism, because it doesn't immediately give the normies the knee-jerk reaction of anarchy. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if it really does represent our beliefs though, because it's more like everyone has different conception of what it means for something to be voluntary. And then the communists, if we're voluntarists, the communists can just come in and say like, oh well, you can't really be a voluntarist while being a capitalist, because blah blah blah. This is what voluntary actually means. Yeah, I don't understand your position. Let me tell you what you should call yourself. Yeah, I mean, come on, dude.
It's just that I mean, again, like you could just shoot someone if they stumble onto your property because they
No, we don't claim that.
trespassed. So they do
Try to understand the theory before criticizing us.
believe in a state. They just believe that it should be something where if you don't choose to voluntarily engage with it, you're free to wander off into the desert and stuff.
Well, I mean, if you call a state just a society where people are agreeing to certain rules, then I guess, but I don't think a state is just a society where people are agreeing to certain rules. I think a state is specifically an aggressive monopoly on force. I think that's what a state is. It's not just, oh, these people are agreeing together, so clearly it's a state, right? Like, what the fuck?
To death, freedom.
We are absolutely not trying to turn America or any other country into Somalia, so I just want to get that out of the way first.
So, okay, this is it's worth noting by the way. Nobody is criticizing anarcho-capitalism thinking that is their goal, but there are people who will say that is the inevitable result.
Yeah, I mean, that's an incorrect claim. I actually go into this in my last video, that I just posted like last night. So I don't feel the need to really go in and refute all of that, but it is like, yeah, no, like it's not the case. Yeah.
So whatever. Obviously, I'm not going to make that argument here, but it's just worth noting that saying this isn't what we're trying. It's kind of like I don't know, like a socialist making a video like we're not trying to create bread lines. It's like, well, obviously that's not going to satisfy anyone because the question is, are you trying to create bread lines?
But the key here.
Yeah, but you have to prove that anarcho-capitalism leads to you have to prove that it actually leads to Somalia, right? Like, why does people respecting each other's property rights lead to people not respecting each other's property rights like we have in Somalia, right? Like, are the people in Somalia just really good ANCAPs who are abiding by the NAP? Like, I don't think any of them have fucking heard of the NAP. Yeah.
Is recognizing that capitalism actually goes hand in hand with anarchism. It's the logical conclusion to being a capitalist, in fact, because if you're abiding by the principles of voluntary exchange, free markets, private property, etc., there wouldn't be the necessity for a state to have involuntary taxation.
Okay.
I mean, yeah.
Why? So why does abiding by the principles of private property, which means, for example, that I can own a factory in halfway across the world, and the people who then work at that factory are obligated to get my permission before they're allowed to continue working at that factory? Why does that not require a state? Why does that not just logically require a state?
Why would it? It's an assertion. You're just making a fucking assertion that it will require a state. Like, why can't two people just get together and say, hey, I want a job and you have a factory. Can I go work in your factory? Why does there need to be a state there? Like, it's just an assertion, like just king assertion. Like, as Leonard Peikoff says, the correct way to deal with arbitrary assertions isn't to actually go in and disprove them. The correct way to deal with these assertions is to just ignore them, right? If someone says there's gremlins on the moon, you don't go in and try to fucking prove if there's gremlins on the moon or not. You just say, give me any proof, give me some proof, or else I'm not going to pay attention to you anymore. Like, this is just completely ridiculous. He's not even making an assertion, he's just making a claim. I mean, yeah, he's just claiming this is the case. And Like this, why? Why is this the case? Like, because actually, the natural state of assumption would be that you wouldn't need a state, because I can perfectly well imagine, um, you know, Robinson Crusoe and Friday on the Island being good capitalists and respecting each other's property rights without the need for a state. Like, you would pretty much have to argue that as soon as these two people are just respecting each other's property rights without a state, the entire world implodes, or that they literally, like, physically cannot respect each other's property rights. It's just nonsense. Somalia actually does have something very similar to natural law, very close to it. You can look up. It's called Zer. Well, clearly they're not abiding by it if they do. Um, Part of the reason I don't make response videos myself is videos like this give me brain aneurysm are generally not worth engaging with. Yeah, I mean, true. Um, I think it's kind of fun to watch them. I think people enjoy response videos to this stuff. And I mean, this stuff somehow does actually convince some people. So maybe it's worthwhile going through. Yeah, I don't know why. Like, why is private defense impossible though? It's like you have to prove that. Why can't I just pay someone to be my bodyguard? Right? Like the world just implodes as soon as that happens, I guess. Like what?
I'll probably be doing one of those educational videos in like a short 5 to 10 minutes, and then
Yeah, you'd have to show that a corollary of not aggressing is aggression, right? Like show that a corollary of respecting property rights is not respecting property rights. Yeah.
my usual Reddit content, so I satisfy all audiences. So even if you don't subscribe to my political system or whatever, which is fine, you can still enjoy the entertainment of dunking on the Redditors, because that will never get old.
Okay, so he hasn't entirely moved away from the Redditor thing, but also at the same time he's going to be talking about... This is really funny, actually, because I've said before that I genuinely could see libertarianism becoming the new trans ideology for this channel, which is to say I could actually see that libertarianism has enough kind of nonsense to it that, much like how I was able to milk trans ideology for like 3-4 years until I felt like I'd exhausted it, I could genuinely see the same being true of anarcho-capitalism.
You literally have not made a single argument against anarcho-capitalism. Like, not a single one. You think you have, but you haven't made a single one. So if you try to milk anarcho-capitalism for years, I mean, good fucking luck. I think what we're going to do is just siphon fucking fans away from you if that's what you try to do, because they're going to see how retarded you are, right? And we're going to keep on completely destroying your videos and reacting to them and just showing how much of an idiot you are. Yeah, please make more slop, right? I honestly wouldn't care. I think it's good if you make more slop, because they'll fucking show that the only way to beat us is to strawman us. And he can't even beat the strawmans? He's doubling down on being 60 IQ. Yeah, pretty much.
And libertarianism more generally. So that would be quite funny if basically he ends up kind of just becoming...
Do you think he'll ever make an argument against ANCAP? I don't think he will. I don't think he has yet. I know a little bit about Zir. It's polycentric and favors restitution. However, it's based on collectivist nonsense of property norms. It's not really close at all. Yeah, I mean, that sounds a lot closer to what the Somalians would probably have. They're definitely collectivists over there. Yeah, he thinks he's right. It's hilarious. Did he get obliterated in the comments of one of his videos by NCAP Doggo of all people? Maybe he did. Notorious Zero, do you know what video it is? We can go check out the comments after we're done with this. I'm actually kind of curious.
Like pivoting to being mostly an anarcho-capitalist channel, and I pivot to being mostly a criticizing libertarianism and anarcho-capitalism channel.
But now that I am taking
Yeah, and you're really bad at that. So go ahead. I mean, it would be a lot of fun to keep making fun of you.
the time to research and study all these things, I really want to debate socialists and communists, or whoever really. I want to be one of the powerhouses for the movement and ultimately show people how we can achieve the most prosperous society.
Here's a...
Every actual argument against ANCAPs usually ranges from accusing us of believing of being pedophiles, or saying that the state will always crush any attempt at private societies. Both are easy to prove. Yeah. I think it was oh, the libertarianism is inhumane video. Okay. Maybe I'll check that out. Yeah, I could bet all my money on him never making an argument. Yeah. He's pivoting to a coal channel. Yeah. More coal reserves for us. We have to keep yeah, the coal reserves have to keep our channels going somehow. So it's great stuff. He's been brutally Christ built. Yeah.
Something else I don't get about like the whole we can achieve the whole, like, one of the things I don't understand is, you understand, nobody, like, he literally said at one point, people don't have time to delve into this incredibly niche ideology.
Only the unemployed have enough time to deep dive into a relatively niche political and philosophical system.
Yeah, do you know why it's incredibly niche ideology? Because nobody believes it, nobody takes it seriously.
Why? Because the philosophy of the day doesn't imply it. If only, like, you're actually agreeing with us here, Critical. Based if true, I don't know if he actually knows this, but he's not intentionally endorsing the remnant strategy. He's saying only a few people are actually philosophically oriented enough to care about this shit, And so a few people, they're gonna influence the philosophy of the day, and then the philosophy of the day from these few philosophers who actually care, it's gonna be passed down to all of the normies, and they won't actually interrogate the philosophy, but they'll just accept it, you know? They'll just accept the philosophy and move on with their day because that's what normies do. And you know, the fundamental goal isn't that everybody knows, you know, exactly, you know, how to argue for every ANCAP position in the world. The thing we need to do is, you know, change the philosophy of the day to be one of anarcho-capitalism by convincing the people who actually influence the philosophy of the day, right? So that's what we're doing.
It's never like I don't really understand like I understand anarcho-capitalists who just say pretty much it's like them having an opinion on Aragon's tax policy. Like basically it's, oh, here's my political opinion about a completely fantastical world. Like in this fantasy world I have in my head, this is how things would be. But I don't really
Anarcho-capitalism in your head.
understand anarcho-capitalists, like, because obviously they must know on some level this is never actually going to happen.
Why not? Is it metaphysically impossible for this to happen? Why can't people choose to be anarcho-capitalists? Now, do I think I'll ever see a true ANCAP society in my life? I don't know. If the movement keeps on catching a lot of traction, maybe I will. Um, if I don't, though, uh, why should I stop advocating for it? Why should I stop advocating for the good? Why should I forsake the good and be an evil person, just because I don't think other people will be good? I mean, what the fuck, right? Like I'm going to keep being good. I'm going to keep believing in what I think is virtuous, regardless if other people don't. Um, I can't wait for him to find the stream. Yeah, if he does and he clips me out of context, I mean, that'll be funny. We'll just we'll stream another video of him and debunk him again. Yeah, he hasn't brought up the NAP a single time. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, it's just completely nonsense.
You're never going to convince the majority of people to just
Yeah, it's funny that Critical said libertarianism has no philosophy, then went to a debate with Liquid Zuda to talk about most surface level things of all, not related to philosophy at all. Yeah, I mean, and if you're gonna ask someone about the philosophy, it would be Liquid Zulu, right? So to claim that um, libertarianism has no philosophy, then go to the king of fucking libertarian philosophy, is ironic. I mean, it's ridiculous.
let corporations be in charge of everything. This is not happening anytime ever. It's just never happening. And like that's kind of to me always been the central contradiction of again capitalist voluntarism. Is that the whole
So the contradiction of it is that people don't want to do it right now. How is that a fucking how is that a contradiction? What if people did want to do it, right? Is it metaphysically impossible for that to happen? Are people determined, like by the material conditions or some shit, to be communists? Or could they choose to be anarcho-capitalists? And if they could choose to be anarcho-capitalists, why should we stop advocating for it? Like, how is there a contradiction in our ideology if people could choose to be anarcho-capitalists and we're recognizing that and saying, hey, if enough people chose to do this, then we would have this amazing society, and we could do all these things, blah blah blah, and it would be ethical and blah blah blah. And so I'm gonna start advocating for that and convincing people. How is that? How is that not a good idea?
point of it? Is like, yeah,
Or a contradiction? He said it's a literal contradiction.
we're just going to do what people choose. We're going to emphasize people.
Yeah, and yeah, we just want corporations to own everything. Definitely a straw man, but yeah. I wonder if he wants people to do what he believes in. Yeah, exactly. Like, I'm sure he wants people to believe in universal healthcare. I could just say, oh, well, universal healthcare is never going to happen. It's a contradiction in your belief. It's like, maybe it will if more people believe in it, right?
Freedom to choose. And it's like, okay, now everybody chose to have the state, and everybody chose to think that we're a bunch of insane people.
Yeah, everybody chose to have the state, but did they have to make that choice? No, they could have chose not to make that choice. They made that choice because they have bad philosophy. You didn't debunk our philosophy by pointing out the fact that people don't agree with our philosophy. They don't agree with our philosophy because they're dumb. They've never heard about it before because they've only heard this retard straw manning it. You know, I mean, come on. The point doesn't even hold up. While a lot of these normies aren't ANCAP's, general decentralization is becoming more and more popular from what I've seen. Yeah, I think in some areas it's becoming more popular, and in some areas it's not. And in the areas where it's becoming popular, it's doing very well.
Who are completely idiotic, but we're really about like, it doesn't really, like, I don't understand. See, it's almost like you look at like something like fascism. Fascism is about people not having choice, and yet what you'll see in certain elections, like those elections in the 1930s, is that people, when given the choice, will more readily pick fascism, which basically derides their right to have a choice.
Why does it matter what people choose? Like, you have to establish that people couldn't choose anarcho-capitalism, right? If people could choose anarcho-capitalism, then there's no problem with our theory, right? That there's no problem at all. Because if they can choose it, and it is truly the correct, ethical, and just position, then we should start advocating for people to be more ethical and just. And if they don't want to be ethical and just, that's unfortunate. But the only way we're ever going to get them to do that is if we show them why it's correct and why if we convince them of it.
Then they will, these like libertarians who are like, hey everyone, we want to give you all the choice in everything. And literally the first choice they make is, well, okay, well, we don't want that actually.
Then they're retarded. Wow, dude, you've just proved that the median voter is a retard. Wow, oh my God. The median voter is a retard, ANCAP debunked, right? I mean, wow, he just debunked ANCAP by showing that the average voter is a retard. Wow. Actually, the average voter actually wants there to be a massive government who controls every aspect of their life and strips them of choices. Yeah, actually, it's because the average voter is stupid.
So thanks, but no thanks. That's the entire world's reaction to libertarianism. Yeah, thanks.
Fascism is about people not having choices. Didn't he literally argue that people need to not have no choices in the? Yeah, exactly. He is in favor of people not having choices. Wasn't he the guy that thinks the planned economy are more efficient than the market because of ads? Yeah, exactly. That is what he says. Myth of the rational voter award. Yeah, whatever the voters think is actually the correct ideology. Well, presumably he doesn't believe in everything the voters think, so he's wrong too on his terms. We want you to give you the choice on everything. Yeah, that's not what the NAP is, but even if that was it's not disproving that position.
We're gonna voluntarily choose to take money from you with taxes. Voluntary.
So it's not voluntary, by the way. It's obviously not, but
That's more or less my very brief explanation for why I changed my position, and although not much has changed broadly speaking.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so basically, obviously, in terms of like why, so the elephant in the room is that he literally said, I was a minarchist, which is someone who is basically a stone's throw away from being an anarchist, but they just think that the state needs to fund a very small number of things. And now he's saying, no, now I think that the state doesn't need to fund anything. Anything. Anyway, so
yeah.
Wasn't really an argument. It was just.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't an argument, and you just he found a way to strawman not even an argument. I mean, this guy can strawman fucking anything, dude. I mean, I could say hello to him, and he would like strawman me and say like, "So you really want to say goodbye to me?" Like, he can strawman anything. It's incredible. Base Div True didn't even make an argument.
It was just stuff. I mean, at the end of the day, whatever. It's cool. It's fine. I don't mind. People are allowed to be anarcho-capitalists. Just I would say keep it between private consenting adults in the bedroom, and don't try and actually present it as a serious political ideology.
I'm going to keep presenting it as a serious political ideology. So yeah, there you go. Fuck you. I think that's all the videos of this guy that we're going to be able to get to in this stream. I will check out the comments of that other video. I want to see if let's see. Yeah, if ANCAP Dog is going in and making fun of him. That'd be kind of funny. Not a libertarian, misunderstood the ideology. Shit status say, oh, this is great. Okay, yeah, there you go. I'm not a libertarian, but I assure you there are people who absolutely get. There you go. I mean, come on. Everyone's just destroying this guy. Purposely misunderstood. This is so emotional. It's crazy. Yeah. And is he getting ratioed? He's getting fucking ratioed like crazy, dude. Dude, this guy fucking ratioed the fuck out of him, dude. Is he always getting ratioed? He's getting fucking destroyed. Oh my god. Dude, please keep making videos about ANCAP. He's getting fucking destroyed, man. Nobody likes this shit. Bro, people are fucking destroying him. I remember seeing a comment having more likes than the vid. 100 and, dude, 2 comments have more likes than the video. Oh my god, dude. Jesus Christ. He's getting fucking destroyed. That is hilarious, man. That is hilarious. ANCAP Dog. Yeah, this video can be summarized as wham, wham. Oh my god. Dude, oh my god. 32x ratio is wild. He gets ratioed under every single comment here. Let's check the other ones. I mean, this is amazing. Let's see the Mentis wave. I wonder. Oh my god.
Hey everyone. So
use return YouTube like addition. His YouTube video has 300 dislikes. Yeah, I'll check that out. I would like to be able to see the dislikes. This is like watching my parents fight. How are these people like my dad's, my parents, my uncle, like how are these people fans of both of them. Obviously, this guy has a contradictory philosophy as compared to Mentis Wave. Like, you can't be fans of both of them if you're like fans of them for their philosophy. Like, come on, like. But anyways, I mean, no one's. Mm, the inherent infinite value. I don't know what this is talking about. Well, it's not as bad. It's not as bad as the other one, but I mean, it's still not great. Yeah, we should be promoting this guy. His ideology, I think it's like some sort of status quoism mixed with like some communism. Like I don't really know. It's very weird. Um, how much hatred does this guy have toward any semblance of capitalism? Is classical liberalism or minarchism better than ANCAP in his mind? He made no clear. Yeah, I mean he's definitely not making any arguments at all. Let's see. Is he
I'll
let's see
probably be
with
doing
this specific one, is he getting mom and dad are arguing like um well, at least on the other video he was getting fucking destroyed. Did he jump from that trans topic from yeah, pretty much I think. Yeah, fund this guy. He makes some good arguments against trans stuff, but he turns his brain off when talking about ANCAP. Yeah, seems like it. Certainly. Um but yeah, I mean I think that's about all I have to say for this stream. This guy's videos are really not good at all. I mean, I don't think he really thinks about anything he says. He just kind of waffles on and uses his own like subjectivist morals to justify everything, but obviously that's not justifying anything. He just assumes that he's true to and strawmans everyone. It's not very good. It's pretty. Who's the mom and dad? I think it was like based if true and this guy. Can you go see if he has the video on Marxism? Um yeah, he's obviously the mom. Yeah, he's at King Critical is actually trans. Let's see. I'll look up King Critical Marxism. Um, TRA are fake Marxist, a response to a Marxist. Capitalism and socialism, the real difference. I'm guaranteeing he's not going to understand the difference. Oh, my page is here. Nice. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if this is the video you're talking about. Yeah. Yeah, I get if people are getting this annoyed by anarcho-capitalism, then we're doing something right. King Critical if he was good. Um, 5 days ago? I'm not exactly sure what you're talking about. Yeah, I mean, um, I think a lot of I don't really understand. It seems like he's talking a lot about Marxism. Maybe he's a Marxist. The second video is the one. Like this one. Yeah, maybe he is a Marxist. I mean, if he misunderstands it enough, he could probably get to Marxism. Yeah, I mean, anyways, though, yeah. Peace out, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for stopping by. We're almost at 50 viewers right now, as per what my thing says. It says 43 over here, but I mean, it is it is a. Oh, he got a. Did he have a bad haircut? Dude, what the fuck is this? Oh my god. Yeah, yeah, at least he got a haircut. But yeah, I mean, I think we had a good stream. Ton of people here. Every stream we're getting more people. It's pretty awesome. So yeah, peace out and all. Remember, like, subscribe. Um, definitely go subscribe. If you want, donate. Every donation is very appreciated. Um, yeah, I mean, if you want to donate, yeah, I have a Ko-Fi, and follow on Twitter. And yeah, peace out, everyone. So have a nice day.